At CoCoTALK, we'd like to thank the patrons who sponsor our show, so our heartfelt gratitude goes out to Al Hartman, Alan Huffman, Alan Murphy, Amigos Retro Gaming, Blair Ledoux, Brendan Donahue, Brian Wieseler, D. Bruce Moore, Davey Mitchell, Diego, Patrick Randolph, Eric Canales, FrodoNL, Glenn Hewlett, Graham Vebke, Grant Leedy, Henry Strickland, Jason Downs, Jenna Farron, Ken Reichert, Kyle Etter, Malfunk, Michael Pitsley, Rick Ulland, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, Paul Thayer, Richard Lorbieski, Rob Inman, Steve Batson, Stephen Wagner, Terry Steen, The Backyard Shed Gang, Tom C., Tom S., Tim Limner, and Tony C. Thank you ever so much, patrons. CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. It's time to drop your socks, grab your real-time clocks, and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to CoCoTALK episode 198. We're going to focus on the community today for a change, as if we don't always. Are you ready to start talking Coco?
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, everybody, welcome. Welcome to CoCoTALK, episode 198. We got a really big show in store for you here today. Can you guys believe it? So hard to imagine. We've been doing this 198 weeks. It is so hard to imagine. But let me just take a moment here to pat myself on the back. Ow, it hurts. It hurts. Oh my God, I got to stop patting myself on the back here because it is painful. We're here. We got a great show in store for you today. We've got a great panel. We've got a great audience. We've already got Kevin Holloway out there early. The early bird got the worm. Retro Innovations is out there. Mark Overholzer is out there. And from Twitch, we've got L. Curtis Boyle and Nick Marotta and Sloopy Malibu. We got Retro Innovation saying, I suppose this awful aberration and excuse for entertainment is going to disrupt my slumber and begin. You are absolutely right. Ken Reichert is out there. Kevin Holloway is out there. Frodo is out there. All kinds of people. Sixy is here. And Samuel Gimes and Explorer VR and Coco Man. And everybody's here. The panel's here. The show is here. Samuel Gimes is here. It's official. We can start the show. We've had a Samuel Gimes sighting. Tom Heron is out there. Hey, Tom, how are you? We got a great panel. Let's start on the bottom of the screen and on the bottom of the world. He is the Thunder from down under, Australia's own Nicholas Marentes. Good day, Nick.
Good day, everyone. I didn't get time to fall asleep. He started at the bottom.
All right. So Nicholas Marentes is here. We got a guy who knows a thing or two about the ROM of the MC10 and how to optimize it and make Mandelbrot's brat much more manderly. We're talking about none other than Mr. James Diffendaffer. How are you today, sir?
When did I do Mandelbrot's?
I don't know. Didn't you do a Mandelbrot? Wasn't that your thing for a little while? Or was it that hat thing? What is that hat thing called? That fedora?
It was the bug-looking thing.
Okay, whatever it was. You did something, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And you're,
I'm kind of off today because you usually introduce me towards the last. And this is totally confusing.
We're going in counterclockwise order today.
Yeah, so far you've screwed up Nick and James. You're doing awesome.
All right, listen. That's why I have to get. That's why when I make love, I get on the bottom because I only know how to screw up. All right, and we're moving along here. So,
oh God,
we've got a guy who calls himself Alan Murphy. Hello, Alan.
Wait, I have to follow that joke. Howdy, everybody. Oh, good gravy.
Oh,
It's Saturday again.
it's Saturday. Hello there. Hey, kids. Welcome to the family-friendly show. Ho! Grandpa, what's he talking about? We got a guy who collects things and makes people jealous. We're talking about none other than Brian Wieseler. How are you, Brian?
Doing very well, thank you. Welcome to the show.
All right. Above Brian, the neighbor of Ron Delvaux, the creator of many, many CoCo hardware projects and products, many of them involving wires. Paul T. Barton is here. Hey, Paul.
Hey.
Welcome to the program. Love that shirt. Your 40th anniversary CoCo shirt. Looking good. We have
it doesn't smell too bad this week.
Oh, that's good to know. One thing we don't have on Zoom is smell-o-vision, so that's probably a good thing. And we also have our resident Apple guy and the guy who posts the news links and does all kinds of other stuff to help out the show. Mark Overholzer's here. Hello, Mark.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here. Always fun. 198. Wow.
Glad to have you. We got another guy named Mark. It's Mark Bosley, our backup engineer. Our community hardware liaison, helping people out in Discord solve CoCo hardware problems. Speaking of CoCo hardware, he's our resident Atari guy, but has managed to make several CoCo hardware projects out of the gate, out of the box, new to the community. We're talking about, you know him, you love him. It's Sloopy Malibu. Hey, Sloopy.
Greetings.
And he's got his Diet Dr. Pepper. Are you excited to be here, Sloopy?
Yes, I am.
Oh, it's going to be, I can feel it. It's going to be a great show. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Speaking of hardware project, Rick Ulland's here with us, too. Hey, Rick, how you doing?
Oh, howdy, folks. It's 5.
It's 5. All right. We got a guy who makes music. It's Brian, the Music Man Shoebring. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing just great. No Froggy today.
All right.
How everybody else is doing, and welcome to the show.
Welcome, welcome. We got a guy who knows a thing or two about toggle switches. It's from CoCoMan.biz. Jason, the CoCo Man Reichert. Hello, Jason.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm ready to go, and I've also got some Diet Dr. Pepper.
All right. Well,
Where's that water?
the windows,
Like
the Hollywood squares have shifted on me here just a little bit, so we're going to move down just a little bit. He's growing out a beard here. I'm not sure if this is the COVID look. He's muted, but you guys know him and love him as Paul Shoemaker. How you doing, Paul?
Hi, guys.
Thanks for joining us. Haven't seen you in a while. This might be your first appearance of the new year, possibly.
I think it could be.
Well, Happy New Year to you.
No, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Next to Paul Shoemaker, this is a guy who is a big fan of the VCR as a viable product for CoCo screen connectivity. We're talking about none other than John Laury, everybody. How you doing, John?
Hey, everybody. Is that the real Ron Delvaux, or is that the faux Delvaux?
Faux Delvaux. Well, the real Ron Delvaux. Please stand up. And speaking of Ron Delvaux, he's from Arizona. He's got a garage. He's got a lovely wife who puts up with his hobby. It's Ron Delvaux.
How you doing? How you doing?
Oh, we're doing good, Ron. Thanks for asking. Next to Ron, we've got he's a foreigner from a foreign land, and that's okay. We accept everybody here in CoCoTALK. We're talking about from NL. It is Frodo. How you doing, Frodo?
Hey there. I'm doing fine. I just have to be careful that I don't become a regular here.
That's right.
Yeah.
You'll be guilty by association, so just be careful.
I've heard it drops people's IQ points a bit when you become regulars. So.
Yeah. Lowers your credit score, lowers your property value, lowers your
not
public...
sure I can afford either of those. But...
lowers your IQ.
Lowers your
Is that
IQ.
like a high-fiber diet?
I believe it also lowers your testosterone level, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
My girlfriend lives in Canada, so that's not a problem.
And speaking of low testosterone levels, from the Great Wide North in Canada, it is L. Curtis Boyle. Good day.
That's the best intro I've ever had.
Oh,
hey,
my
everyone.
God. I love how these segues just kind of write themselves sometimes. And last, but certainly not least, you know him. You love him. You must say his name a minimum of 3 times. We're talking about
Nick Marotta.
How you doing today, Nick?
I am doing very well, thank you. It's great to be here.
It is great to have you being here, and I am the host of this train wreck. I am Stevie Strow, that guy who makes videos on YouTube from time to time. Nothing else really to say about that. So, welcome. It's another week. It's a good week. It's been a great week in the CoCo hobby. We had a great game to play this week. We had some great players of that game, which we will learn about as we get into our Game On section. We're going to flip things up just a little bit. We are going to flip the script, as we say in hip-hop here, and we're going to do project updates and acquisitions ahead of time at the top of the show rather than at the bottom of the show. And we'll have some more updates later on in the show because we're not only joined by special guest FrodoNL, but later on we're also going to be joined by John, BoatOfCar Shawler from the Amigos Retro Gaming Guy in the CoCo show. So they're going to give us an update on what they've been working on and what they've got in the works. So they'll be joining us later too, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So without any further ado, this is one of everyone's favorite. Actually, there's not a bad segment. So every segment is everyone's favorite segment. But here's one of many favorite segments of the show. And this is what we think, this little thing we like to call updates and acquisitions. All right. Who's got something to talk about? Anyone? Anyone?
Isn't calling the bottom of the show redundant on CoCoTALK?
It could be. And by the way, if anybody's wondering, what is this fashionable headgear I have on? Today, or this weekend, or maybe last weekend, or sometime recently, would have marked the anniversary of Hamcation, was it, Jason?
Yes, Hamcation. I believe it's supposed to be this weekend.
This weekend would have been Hamcation in Orlando, Florida. And this last year, I met the lovely Jason and the lovely Sarah and even the lovely, what's-his-face, Michael Brandt / Qui-Gon. We all met in the Orlando area, had a weekend of CoCo camaraderie and hamming it up and enjoying the sights and sounds of the Orlando tourist traps. And so thank you, COVID, for screwing everything over this year. Thank you. So to honor that memory, I'm wearing my hat. This was one of those things I said, you know what? I got to get that. I see that. I got to get that. And I got it. So here it is.
And it does stand out, but unfortunately, like those type of ham radio events, you really just blend in with that bright color.
And that's not a bad thing. All right. So project updates, acquisitions. Ron Delvaux, how about beauty first? You said you had a few things to talk about. Why don't we start things off with you, sir?
Okay.
No pressure.
Share the screen.
You may share.
Like, well, no, no.
And we've just been joined by Mr. Dave.
Yeah.
I'm not preventing you from sharing, Ron.
I'm trying to.
Only you can help you.
I'm trying to.
There we go.
There? Okay, good. All right, just want to show, this is Ron's Garage.
Hey, this is Ron's Garage on
without
Facebook.
Without the music, without the intro.
Well, I can do that.
And no, it's okay.
Okay.
Cool. So I just want to show that I have many different groups that if you guys get a chance, just go there sometime. Show us your Tandy color computer, the US 9 group, Ron's Garage.
Ron's Garage.
I have these other ones. I have the CoCo group, which I'm a moderator of, but everybody goes there. It's a lot of fun.
CoCo Pie.
Yeah, CoCo Pie. WeFax group, which everybody just loves.
How's that group doing? Oh, 33 members. Woo, you guys are just really tearing up the internet there, aren't you?
MM1.
MM1.
Which, some of you new people probably don't even know what the MM1 is. That's why I posted it just recently, just to show it. The VCC is the virtual color computer emulator. Tomcat, who has 39 members. Tandy Data Products.
TD CoCo BBSs.
My friend.
Terry Steege.
Terry Steege, yeah. Radio Shack Magazines. Tandy Deskmate.
Tandy Deskmate.
Color Computer BBS Group. CoCo Marketplace. Anyway, I just wanted everybody to know that those are places you can go and enjoy.
Lots of places there. So basically, Ron Delvaux is keeping Facebook on their toes. They have to keep expanding their server farms and data centers to keep up with the growth that Ron Delvaux continues to put on that platform. So we thank you, and your taxpayers thank you too.
Maybe there should be a group that just
there should be a group
for
that's
everyone to
called
discuss all his
Ron's
of Ron's
groups.
Facebook groups.
Create the Ron's group.
Of Discords.
Yeah, create the Ron's group. That way you've got a group to link to all your different groups.
I might have those, but you have Discord. Have you ever seen it? It's amazing.
The first rule of Discord is we do not discuss Discord. All right.
The first rule of Discord is I don't even know what groups are on there anymore because there's too many.
Oh my God! Yes.
We have a channel for that.
Yes, there is. There's the channel. There's the channel guide channel. There's the channel suggestion channel where you can suggest more channels to add to Discord. There's the channels we really like channel, and there's the channels we sort of like channel.
I really wish you were exaggerating.
Who else?
There's the channel to make suggestions for changes to the suggestion channel.
Yes, there is. And
there's the yellow CoCo hat channel.
There's the yellow CoCo hat channel. There is. Who else has an update or acquisition or story to tell or story to share? Anyone?
Yeah, I've got some random things from the week here.
Okay, let's spotlight Rick Ulland, everybody. Rick Ulland has got something to share. Please provide him your undivided attention.
Well, first, a sad note. The Christmas deer aren't going to make it. I guess this one is pretty much buried in the middle, and this one over here is pretty much... Now, keep in mind, these are 2.5 to 3 feet tall, so...
What are they under that snow?
You've almost got as much snow as we do.
Yeah, it's up officially 21 inches.
What am I looking at here? Is this you retro brighting
grass
things?
I've ever seen.
This is my front yard, and all of my Christmas lights are now buried to
okay. I thought this was a retro bright project. I said, man, you got that yard really white.
Yes, we do. It took a lot of snow, although I can't feel too bad. The gal across the street maintains this double wide driveway with just a fancy metal shovel. This is a mid-40s housewife type person.
Okay.
So,
is she hot?
I can't grab about. No, she's in mid-40s housewife type
I've
person.
seen some mid-40s that are hot. So.
Yeah, well, she's a little disagreeable.
Okay.
Besides.
All right.
So we won't go there. But anyway.
There needs to be the hot neighbors channel where we can post pics.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
After dark all day. That's
the Don't Tell the Wife channel.
That's right. David Ladd just gave us a like on Facebook. Thank you, David, for your approval.
Is he watching the show?
He must be. He just gave us a thumbs up.
Ooh. So anyway,
thank you, David. Okay, what are we looking at here? Network?
So last week I was showing the prototype of my new project. In particular, here's the serial port part of it, sort of the right side of the board. Well, digging around, I found the original Fast 232 prototype. It's not quite as pretty.
What are you talking about? That's gorgeous. Look at that.
Actually, I drew this on typing paper, took some copy film, the plastic film stuff, went to Office Max, and a buddy of mine distracted them while I stuck the film in place of the paper and made some copies because I didn't have a copier. But yeah, anyway, that was the original prototype.
To order?
Excuse me?
Are those available to order?
Oh, the other thing, we're still working on it. It's still got
these right here.
These? Yeah, that'll work. And while I was digging around, I also found an OS 9 boot disk. So if you want to know what a default OS 9 boot disk looked like in the day, looks like this.
Ooh, it said OS 9 boot on it.
Well, and you can probably figure out the model of drive from the dust pattern that accumulated because it was never taken out of the floppy drive. Because it was required to boot to the hard drive. So
those are kind of like tan lines.
Exactly right. I mean, I'm still doing the same thing.
Burn
so
in.
Here's my SDC. I mount my old hard drive here and just pick a boot. But yeah, old habits die hard. Let's see, what else did I have here? Also, I needed a cassette recorder, and my cassette player died because it was 1,000 years old. And I can verify that you can use an MP3 recorder as a cassette on a CoCo.
Oh, and actually record.
And record programs and playback. It's really very handy because then each program is a separate thing on the menu here. And I just thumb through the menu for whatever program I want. It is absolutely imperative that you have a level adjustment knob, which this one does, so you can set the record level, because you have to cut it way, way, way back Otherwise, it overmodulates everything.
This is almost like the Castuino thing, these Arduino cassette things here. It's a little box that plays back files.
You could even do this on an iPod-ish kind of thing, an MP3 recorder, as long as it's for music. You can't do it on a voice recorder because
the fidelity's not there.
Yeah, it just compresses the
now,
levels.
Can you set it to mono, or does it know to record in mono because there's only a single pole on the audio input?
When it records, it's only recording the left channel.
Okay.
But it's also only reading the left channel, so
who
cares what's happening on the right side? But yeah, it works great. So
that's cool.
Just to verify, these work. So if you have any kind of MP3 recorder, you can cobble it into.
Now, theoretically, you should just be able to distribute that too. So if you wanted to, post this WAV file or the MP3 file to say, hey, here's my save of whatever, you can distribute software that way too.
And it's worth noting, although this is a high-end recorder, I'm using the lowest quality setting it's got. So
okay. Yeah, so MP3 actually is compression, so it'll be smaller than doing like the WAV file or WAV file, depending on how you pronounce it, right? So this has already got compression, and the compression on the playback is not an issue.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So it's the only thing that seems to be an issue is get that recording level down enough that you can see the meters move, which is very difficult to do. It wants to slam to the top and just sit there. Those recordings will work if you get the volume exactly right, but it's a lot better to fix it when you record it.
Is this something you can buy today?
Oh, these things are everywhere. I mean, this is a thing that I use for music, and the cassette recorder died, and it's like, what can I record audio with? Oh, this thing.
So like $40 or something?
That?
You can get something similar for $40 or so. Like I say, this is a high-end kind of stereo mic capsule mid-side XY.
Right. But our needs are very low end for the fidelity.
But yes, you can, but I'm using it's very lowest fidelity setting, and it works fine. So just to let it be known, you can take an old MP3 recorder, stick a CoCo cassette cable in it, and provided you can set the record levels, it works.
Cool. That is neat.
And, I think that's all I've done. Watch the neighbor clean her driveway some more.
Welcome to Hot Neighbor Cam.
Right. So I will hop out of here if I can.
Terry Steege wants to join the call. Let's put that to a vote. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Rick Ulland. Who else had an update or acquisition or story to share or show and tell or anything else?
Well, one thing I'll say is since I've been on CoCoTALK, I've been able to afford a Dodge Viper.
Oh, good for you.
Nice. the early one that kills you?
Look at that. That is nice, Ron.
Obviously, you're getting paid better than the rest of us panelists.
That's right.
Yeah.
Remind me to up your salary, Ron.
Getting paid.
Probably the bounty for all the good job.
Yeah, that's his headhunter fee for getting all our good interviews, right? So.
Well, now you know where all those lunch expenses have been going.
That's right.
Amigos Retro Gaming on Twitch says there are programs on the smartphones that do that sort of thing for the ZX Spectrum. Same concept. So there must be like a mobile app that can turn your smartphone into a cassette recording.
Yeah,
file.
I actually use that on my Android phones.
Okay.
The only issue is that most Android phones have too low a level, so you have to have something with a high level output. But thankfully, my Samsung S8 Plus does do that. But there are quite a few that have too low a level.
Which app do you use for that?
I would have to look it up. Give me a few, I will look it up.
No problem. Don't want to put you on the spot, but I'll just ask you now, Paul, if we need to come back to you. But Paul Shoemaker, we haven't heard from you in a while. Anything you want to update us on? You've got your hand in a lot of cookie jars with semi-graphics and demos and programs and all kinds of stuff.
No, not really. I wish I did. I haven't had a chance to really spend as much time with my CoCo hobby and programming and things like that as I'd like to. I did all of that stuff with the semi-graphics mode and the cave or the dungeon crawler thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of that over 2 weeks of vacation I had around the holiday time, but since then it's just been really tough to find the time. So trying to dive back in. So hopefully I'll have more good stuff to share with folks in the future.
Wow, awesome. Look at that high-tech CoCo back there with the new keyboard and
I know.
You mentioned the CoCo Mac keyboard.
Awesome.
Yeah. I bought a keyboard from one of Ed's keyboards, and I'd gotten one before for my CoCo 3, but I decided to try to put it into the CoCo 2, and there's really no reason why it couldn't work. But I remember reading some discussion around folks, even Ed saying that the standoffs and the little mounting things that he sends with the keyboard might not work on the CoCo 2 because it was really designed specifically with the CoCo 3 in mind, but it works perfectly. The only thing that I had to do on my CoCo 2 is because it was an older, it was like the early model CoCo 2. The keyboard connector that takes the flexible Mylar ribbon, it just didn't work at all, really, consistently with the rigid connector that Ed uses. So I had to desolder it, and I put on a different one that I actually scavenged from a later model CoCo 2 board, which I have in my garage, which wasn't working, and it worked just fine. So for anybody who is curious whether or not Ed's CoCo 3 keyboards will work on a CoCo 2, the answer is yes. Asterisk, you might have to mess around with the connector on the board a little bit.
Okay. And earlier we did panel introductions. There's been a few people who have joined the panel since then. One of those being the person responsible for the Game On Challenge, because he suggested it and Nick Marotta has run with it. But MrDave6309 is here. Hey, Mr. Dave, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing great.
And as we come up on our anniversary of the Game On Challenge, which is all your fault, sir. For better or for worse, depending on your opinion on CoCo gaming.
Blame too.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Dave. We appreciate you and your suggestions and all that you do. And another person that has joined us late, which is not becoming of the vice president of the Glenside Color Computer Club, because 2 o'clock is 2 o'clock, Terry Steege. But how are you doing, sir?
Wow. Man, story of my life.
Yeah. I'm not here to shame anybody, but shame on you, Terry Steege.
I apologize. I didn't escape for the show. I apologize.
And I have to say, judging by your photo there, I think that the COVID beard's getting a little bit overdone.
It's been a rough year, let me tell you.
A little shaggy.
Boy, I tell you, I get no respect. I tell you, hey,
rough as rough year.
He's had a rough year. Oh dear God!
Stevie.
Oh, you're welcome. Zoinks.
Is that a 4-pound tongue?
Well.
Okay. Well, I know this is a rhetorical question. This is like asking David Ladd, is he excited? But Brian Wieseler, did you by any chance pick anything up this week? Oh, yes, I did.
You just do the mouth thing, and
I'll just move my lips and you can fill in the words or something. Okay. I do have a couple things that have been laying around here a little bit that I haven't shown. I've had this cartridge here, the Don Pan.
No.
But I never had the manual, and so I was able to find one with the manual and everything, so I can make a complete. I got one of the silver boxes, so I'll get that thrown in there. So
have you done the RT? Have you done the RTFM? Read the fine manual.
Not yet. No, I've not read it yet. But nope.
Okay.
I know it's kind of an interesting.
It is interesting. Show the label and the spine again, because it's a little on the cartridge too. You know, because they've changed formats from time to time, where it used to be the kind of 3D breakout thing, and you know, where like you had the picture and then like the kind of shadow going off. Yep. This is more of just a thing. Now I don't know if Brian paused or if I've paused too. Are you guys still here?
Yeah, yes. I hear you.
Okay, so is it just Brian that's paused?
I think so.
Okay. Well, listen. At least he's paused where most of his face is covered. So, oh no, he's back. Damn it, he's back. No, oh shit. And there he is. So.
I did hear that. Maybe he won't hear this. Right, so anyway, go ahead. Another manual that I picked up here. I believe this is it's a OS 9 product, but it's the Planet Engine.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I think Ron, you do quite a bit with this, don't you?
Yes, it's available on every issue of EOU.
I believe Ron Delvaux's got a Facebook group for the Planet Engine Facebook group too, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go.
You know what? I'm going to have to make one.
There it is.
He's like squatting on domain names at this point. So.
Ron, this is an intervention. You've made too many Facebook groups.
See, Stevie, now you're just being an enabler.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And then another manual that I picked up here is from J&M Systems there. This is the JDOS disc back. And so there's a 1983 and an 84, and now I got the 85 version of the manual.
You have all three versions?
Yes.
All right. All right, speaking of interventions, Brian Wieseler, we got to pull you to the side. You have a problem, sir.
I'm going to hand over Ron's garage to him, and he can make it Brian's garage.
Brian's garage?
Yep.
And the guy and then the guy that I got these two manuals because it was from the same seller, he did kind of throw a little thank you note in there, and I thought it was kind of interesting because it was on a kind of one of those old punch cards, back in the day that they used, that people used to do. So I thought that was kind of just a little interesting way of
saying a retro thank you note. Yeah.
Yeah. And then because we're always wondering where Carmen is, I now have the game there with the manual and the books and everything there. The Carmen Diego.
Nice.
San Diego. So
I want spoilers. Where is she?
Yeah.
I haven't played the game yet to find out. I'll have to play.
And he isn't going to open that either, so he's not going to know.
Right.
It's on ease of use. You can play it on there and find out.
I currently have eBay searching for where is Rick Ulland's hot neighbor. So I'm looking for that edition for the CoCo. So.
It's going to be every week now. Every week. There's going to be grass to cut.
Then when you get done finding Carmen, if you want to beef up on your trivia there, I got Trivia Fever as well there.
I got the fever for more trivia.
Fever.
Yeah.
How would you
Is that
say
for the
that?
CoCo
I
and not
think
the Tandy 1000?
No, that's CoCo. I got it back.
CoCo? Trivia Fever?
Yep, the CoCo.
What was the format? Was it like on the text screen or was it graphics?
64K CoCo 1 and 2 OS9 program.
What was the format though? CG like a VDG screen or?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're showing it right there.
Okay.
Those are screenshots from another computer. That's
okay. So the CoCo version was basically the green and black VDG screen for trivia.
I think it ran on a graphic screen. I haven't played it in a while.
Because
it's one of the ones that crashes on ease of use. I got to figure out what it's doing weird.
But it's in your background, Curtis.
Okay. David Craker says that his daughter's favorite game is Carmen San Diego. That's cool.
And then just
a fun game.
Yeah.
Two more things here, because I want to help Fletcher succeed.
She'll go far.
She will go far. So kind of from our little cousin there, not quite CoCo though, but the Model 100, I was able to pick up one of the floppy drives.
Look at
that's
that.
for it there.
In the box.
In the box, and then also the acoustic coupler.
The modem.
I always thought those were kind of interesting there. They were kind of. This
Hard
one's
to find
actually
a phone
new.
that plugs into that anymore.
Exactly. So this is actually still new in box though, with the little suction cups that go onto the receiver.
Wow.
So I see.
Of the phone.
There she is.
Still got that new coupler smell.
That new coupler smell, yes.
Yeah.
So
For you younger kids out there, that's pre-cell phone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
way
right.
pre-cell phone there. So
Ken
big
Reichert says
feature
you
was-
can hack the Whopper now with that thing.
That's like
it might work with those modern phone-like thingies as speaker and microphone replacement that they have now, because they are all back for some of the people, it seems. It should
Its
fit.
big feature was it had separate cups, so it would fit all the different kinds
Different
of
sizes of
handsets
phones, right?
that were
Instead of it
around.
being,
Like
preformed.
some of them were actually the rigid, the fixed distance.
Yeah,
and stuff.
kind of
Would drop
molded.
one handset, and if it didn't fit your handset,
You
sorry.
were SOL, yeah, absolutely.
I never knew anybody who actually had one of those kind of modems. Even
that
back
was-
in the day, I just had a separate little box modem.
No, I had that.
I had
That
a
was
couple
my
people here
first
that I
modem.
knew.
Was a hand-me. Somebody gave it to me, like a friend of my dad's or something, gave me the two-piece coupler. But my phone was not the round mouth and earpieces. It was like the single form one. So my phone didn't quite fit in it. Even though I could move the pieces around, it didn't quite fit it well. But I do remember trying to call a CoCo BBS, and it wasn't a memorable experience. So I think I didn't try for very long or very hard to call more CoCo BBSs.
The
at
very
that time.
first call I did to a BBS on my CoCo in 1982 was on an acoustic coupler I borrowed off a friend.
I used to call a CoCo BBS that had their telephone number. The last 4 digits were 6809.
So that wasn't easy to do back then either. It wasn't like you could just pick a vanity number and hope that you would get it sometimes. So
He actually, the guy who ran the board, I was talking to him
Yeah.
one day, and he talked about how he had to threaten some old lady to get the number from her. Yeah, so the old lady had it.
Wouldn't be Rick's neighbor across the street, would it?
That's why she's so unhappy.
Yeah, that's why.
Acoustic coupler. My high school had a 33 ASR that just had acoustic coupler mounts on the right side, not a dial tone, and they had an old black AT&T Western Digital Business rotary dial phone that you called the HP Region 10 time sharing, and when you heard the tone, you dropped it in the teletype, and it sprang to life. And that's how we connected from high school in the early 70s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, is that a macrame hanger behind your head there?
A what? I'm sorry?
From the 70s? A macrame, they could use to call it.
Your plant holder.
Your plant holder.
Oh, I guess that's what you'd call it there, yes. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Period correct.
Period
There you
correct. I remember macrameing in arts and crafts class and whatnot. Very cool. Lots of more up. Oh, there's Sloopy's got the old phone there with the round receivers.
I have one exactly like that.
That's the newer one with buttons, man.
Oh yeah, it's not rotary.
The rotary.
It's not
Still
rotary.
Western Electric though.
That's a little, it's a little too easy use for me there, loser. So
You actually have to like roll the ringer and stuff there, and you have to do 3 long, 2 short, 2 long, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Party line memory.
Hello, operator.
Yeah,
Give me
yeah,
a
click on
Klondike
it.
3274.
Listen, you can do with that phone. You can't do with your
the phone
handheld
I had to hold
smartphone.
one to my ear and crank a few times.
Well, if you slam that phone down and hang up on somebody, it's a whole lot better feeling.
Oh
than
yeah.
just-
Yeah.
Rather than just tapping.
Right. I am so tired of these people calling about my vehicle's extended warranty.
Yeah, I
I
cracked
got
the
one of
screen.
those yesterday.
Yeah. If I get one more call about my Google listing. All right. So, cool. Who else has something to talk about? John Laury, anything new in your world?
I actually do have one thing here. A lot of the retro guys who are, like working on refurbishing computers like to talk about the magic erasers. They seem to like them for taking spots off of, retro, cleaning up cases and stuff like that. And I didn't notice that they're like around about $1 a piece when you go to the store. They get like 3 or 4 of them for $3 or something like that. And I was just at Home Depot yesterday, and they were like 6 for $5 or something like that. But I picked up 100 of them off of Amazon for like $12.
Wow. Now, these the official Magic Eraser brand? Are they generic or?
I forget the actual name, melamine or something like
Okay.
that is what it's called. But yeah, it's not a.
I'll take 3 cocoa pads.
Right.
Gonna resell
Yeah.
them.
I mean, I have not used that on anything retro related, but my wife swears by these things around the house for just your general cleaning of all kinds of things off of all kinds of surfaces. That and baby wipes. Like our kids are 13 and 20 basically, but we still buy baby wipes on a regular basis because those things are good for cleaning up anything. So Magic Eraser is kind of like that too. So.
Yeah. So I just noticed that they were kind of expensive in the stores, but you can pick them up off of like eBay or Amazon, something like that. Just search for Magic Eraser or melamine, and you'll find them. And they're generally in the neighborhood of, if you buy them in bulk, they're real cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, they work like a charm on CoCo cases, but I think they are mildly abrasive, so I guess you want to be a little bit careful, but I've never rubbed a hole through
I'm
the
sure
thing or anything. It works fine.
There might be some
Very
people that wish they
novel.
could use those on this show. So who knows, right? So
They're good for they are good for card edge fingers and things like that as well.
Okay.
Mm.
There you go.
That was a good call. Yeah.
Who else has an update? Mr. Dave6309. Anything you want to tell us
Yeah.
about what you got cooking?
Yeah,
Or 6309?
I have a few updates.
Okay.
Probably too much to mention. I did finally get some CoCo 2s with melted keyboards.
Okay.
Something I've been looking for. And I actually got an extra one. So I put it up for sale on eBay today.
Okay.
And that's one we see right here.
Look at that. Look at the nice melty keys.
Can you
That's
really
pretty
have
white,
extra?
too.
Yeah.
Can you really have extra CoCos?
Now,
Well, look at
I
this.
put
It's
in
got
a couple
toggle
extra switches.
Of course.
So we can get inverse color.
Oh, wow. Look at that. The flip of a switch.
Yeah. We can
Orange.
get the alternate.
The orange.
alternate orange.
Alternate orange inverted. Okay. That's pretty cool.
And of course, it's got a 6309 for a CPU.
Okay. Now, is X basic, is that a real basic, or is that just you changing what the ROM says?
No, this was an old basic I found in one of my machines, and it's extended basic.
Okay.
I did modify it to say that it's a 6309.
Okay. Okay, so this is normal extended color basic. You just changed it to say X basic.
It was like that. So I don't know the full depth of this basic. I pulled that out of a machine.
Okay. Interesting.
Because it would be interesting to burn a ROM with a 639 enhanced basic, extended basic.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe that's
another
what
thing
that
I
is.
got.
You can double the speed of Cosmic Alien. Go ahead.
This is my little MP3 player boards that are coming from my game that I'm developing.
Okay.
So I got a bunch of them in the mail.
Okay.
So I'm going to wire them up into the game cartridge.
Very cool.
And I did get a Model 100, acoustic couplers. I got a TP10 printer, all kinds of fun stuff.
You'll go far with that Model 100.
I got a good lot of games as well.
Yeah.
Fun. I got Dragon Fire. What else? I don't know. I got about 8 games, so I was pretty happy with that. But that's the trick to shopping, is to keep looking every day and grab the good deals when they happen.
Cool. You should show off your controller, Mr. Dave.
Well, I sold that one already.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
well,
one of the
I'll work
CoCo
on how
Discord.
to for you this week.
So
But
you
I
mentioned
did convert an Atari paddle to work on the CoCo. That was a very easy conversion.
Interesting.
And it works great for games like Tetris and Arkanoid.
So the Model 100 came up. Did that have the acoustic coupler jack on the back of it for the Radio Shack couplers? Or was that, am I crazy?
I don't know. Mine has an RS-232. I haven't had time to play with it yet.
So an RS-232 that looks like a cassette cable or something?
Like the DIN connector?
Yeah, I think so.
The 100.
Okay, cool.
The 100 had acoustic couplers that they were just the cups that plugged into the back of it, but I don't know more than that.
Right, but yeah, so the modem is in the Model 100 and you just plug the couplers in and away you go.
Here's a picture here if anybody can see my screen here.
I see cassette and something else.
Phone. And this is where the acoustic coupler goes into, is where it says phone.
Oh, yeah, beauty. I thought that was the one. So all you needed was your 2 little ear things and your
Correct.
Model 1 and away you went.
Yes. Yep.
Theoretically, you could do a modular jack connection too if you had the right balance, some sort of transformer or something. You could just direct connect it.
Yeah, but this was portable, so you didn't have a modular jack in your motel room. You had to drop that handset down in there, puppy.
Right, but I mean, you've seen stories before, though. You've seen stories before, though, where like news reporters would actually take these things and type their story on here. They would go to a payphone with their acoustic couplers, set the receiver from the payphone right onto those couplers, and upload their story to their respective newspapers. Yep.
And the Model 100 was huge with reporters.
And that's
Plus, it had such awesome battery life.
That's bleeding edge journalism right there, man.
They supposedly sold 7 million of those.
Really? And those things were what? When the Model 100 first came out, wasn't it like $700 or $800 or something like that? Like it wasn't cheap.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it ran all week on a couple AA's. So.
Yeah, but to have sold, what did you say, James?
Supposedly 7 million. That's up in the Apple computer territory.
Wow. Yep. Now, and that's one of the few computers that Tandy didn't actually design themselves. Wasn't it a Kira Seria or something like that? It was basically a rebranded product.
I think there's an NEC that's like it.
Okay. Like it was
for sure.
The ones in the early Pocket computer. One of those was like a Sharp rebrand, and then the Model 100 was a rebrand of somebody else's machine. Interesting.
It was the Kiotronic 85 originally from Kyocera.
Kyocera. Okay.
Yeah, I have one. Hey, and I got this today at the garage sale.
Back it up a little bit. It's kind of blurry.
Cool.
It's a set of binoculars with a a camera included.
Oh, neat.
It is a whopping 3 megapixels and works with XP.
And
Hey,
just
there
like
you
that,
go.
and just
There
like
you
that, we're back to the hot neighbor.
There we go. And we've had a lot of people in the live chat saying hi. A little while ago, Luis Fernandez chimed in. Hello, Luis. Daddy Burrito has come in here. Daddy Burrito. I'm a bigger fan of Mama Enchilada myself, but hey, Daddy Burrito. Ken Reichard's out there. Amigos is out there. And Chris Durys has just joined up saying, hey, I got to keep watching. Grabbed an MC10 for $36 plus shipping on eBay. Buy it now yesterday. Now that's a steal. $36 for an MC10. You know what? I have a soundbite for that, but I'll just say it. With rising entertainment costs, that's a real bargain. So good for you, and very cool. So who else had an update or something to share? Ron got his binoculars. Anyone? Who said that?
I do, Terry. Sorry.
Terry Steege. Oh, that's right. The guy who was late to the meeting today. That guy. Right. But no shaming on this show here. No shaming.
Every party, sorry.
At
Wyco
first, I thought
Command.
that was from Australia.
Oh, the trackball.
I've got a trackball, but I finally was able to get the manual for it, so I was
Ooh.
pretty happy about that.
Ooh.
And then the other thing I got that isn't. Let's see, does that work? So I wanted to test this. Radio Shack made these digital recorders that used SD cards. It'll take 3 SD cards.
I feel like I'm about ready to stroke out here with the way your camera is pulsing on it, man. I don't know, is my blood pressure, man? Somebody check my pulse quick.
I feel like I'm playing Dagger app.
Yeah,
Is that better?
Yeah, a little better.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that is cool. That's kind of like what Rick Ulland was showing us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, but slightly
I've got
different.
one of
His was
those.
an MP3 recorder, but this is made by Radio Shack, and it looks more like an actual tape recorder.
Yeah, it looks like a cassette recorder.
Yeah.
But it uses SD
Yeah, they're
cards.
pretty neat. Too bad they don't make them anymore.
Yeah, I wish they did. Anyway, I was pretty. It works pretty well. I've been downloading some of the CAS files, and it's been working. So
does it have memory in it, or
you can have 3 SD cards up to. I've got 3 gig SD cards, and it works pretty well.
That is cool.
It's got storage space for several cards, and then one that you're using.
And then the last one I got
Must be from Australia.
the Australia.
Rainbow Bits.
Bits.
It's upside down for us. Yeah, you're in Australia because it's upside down. Rainbow Bits disc controller. Okay, that's cool.
Whoa.
That's odd that it's off-centered on the one
Yeah,
connector there.
yeah, the ribbon cable. But so that's the CoCo side, obviously the wider one, and then the smaller one's for the ribbon cable, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try
So who made it?
off of here, but
when you plug it in, I wonder what it says on the screen.
Yeah, well, it'd say Disk Extended Basic by Microsoft and
It
Tandy.
depends on what ROM you plug in.
Oh, so this was hardware only, and you had to ROM it yourself?
No, you bought it with the controller, but I mean, you could change the ROM to whatever you want.
Ah, okay, like a JDOS or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, whatever.
Let's see the other side. Does it have a screw in it?
Well, it's got a warning label. Ooh, warranty void if.
Don't tamper with
there's
that.
So they don't want you to open it up, so it must come with a ROM. It comes with
Yeah,
a ROM already.
you might have to pre-order it with your ROM of choice. So.
And it's shorter than the Tandy.
Yeah, it's almost like normal ROM pack size.
It is. It is. It's
is-
the normal one.
This is a company after my own heart. It must fit in an old game pack.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Oh,
That is
that's it.
awesome.
to make it work, it sounds like you need a special key to make it work. But I haven't been able to find a cry key. But
Crikey. Crikey.
Have you smelled it to see if any of that blue smoke come out of it?
I rarely smell things I buy. But
That's a good rule.
after I
Ron is crushed.
Rules to live by. That
You
one.
might want to run it across your nose a little bit.
You're probably-
Wouldn't.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks, guys.
All right, Terry.
Actually, I could probably whip mine out and show you the inside.
All right,
I'll tell one
Nick is going to whip it out. Everybody, get ready.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
So see if someone else has something while I try and dig it out of my.
Well, we can spotlight Mr. Dave's video right now. This is live from across the street from Rick Ulland's house. This is Rick Ulland's neighbor dancing for us right now. So I tell you what, I don't care what kind of attitude she has, Rick. I would put up with it. Look at her. She's a mover.
And a shaker.
A mover and a shaker.
She's not looking through your window.
Yeah, right
now.
This is Mr. Dave's project he's still working on. So this is really cool with the color palettes moving on. It looks like it's in a nightclub and she's on the dance floor. That's cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I dream of Jeannie.
Cool stuff. All right, so while we're waiting on Nick Marentes, who else has anything else they want to share today? Show and tell? Anyone? Anyone?
Haven't you shared enough, Stevie?
Okay.
Well, I got a minor one I can fill time with.
Okay. Way to sell it there, Nick Marotta.
Well, it's not a huge deal, but I realized this week I'd been using this case to store just CD-ROMs in, and I realized it was branded Radio Shack. I didn't know that.
It was for
until this week. It was a floppy case.
Okay.
So I
got
thought,
a few of those.
So I like Radio Shack branded stuff. I didn't realize I had something. So, like I said, it was a small thing, but
okay,
it was a discovery I made this week.
What's that machine back behind you?
Me?
Yeah.
The MC10?
No.
The CoCo 2?
No.
Oh, there's something else. What is it, like the tape player?
This?
Directly behind you.
Well, I have a netbook that I use to...
oh, okay. That's what that is.
Just a netbook that I use to run my DriveWire server on.
DriveWire?
For my MC10.
DriveWire.
So it is related then.
Yep.
Okay. Nick Marentes, are you ready to whip it out?
I am ready. I'll just share my camera if I can remember.
So, Nick, are these from Australia or are they from the US or where?
These are Australian, I guess. This was my first controller I ever got. So how's that coming through?
Good.
Can you see the?
Yeah, it says disc controller on it.
You have a switch on yours, though.
Well, that's a ROM switch. I'll open it up.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So we got
Stacked ROM lifted pin. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it.
You got
very
a
well.
LED light. You got a blinky light on it. I like blinky light. Or is that that's the switch? That's not a light. That's the switch.
That's a switch.
Okay.
And there's two ROMs stacked on top of each other, and the switch selects which ROM is going to be active.
Oh, interesting.
So I can't remember. I think I had RS-DOS 1.1 on the top, and ADOS 3 is the bottom ROM.
Nice.
But it's nice and compact.
Absolutely. And that's got kind of the ribbon connector on that side there.
Yeah,
for
like
the,
well, this one's a bit different. It's got a different connector to what.
Not the
Terry
edge.
was showing
It's
us.
a pin versus the edge connector. Yeah.
Must be a slightly different revision.
Is that a
That's pretty well ready to go with a 3.5-inch drive then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember when I got my CoCo, after I've been using my TRS-80 for years on a cassette, I said, there's no way I'm going to use the CoCo with a cassette. I'm going straight to disk drive. But the Tandy disk drives, it was $600 just for the a single-sided 35-track Tandy disc system. And this fellow was selling this controller, a dual floppy 40-track double-sided system, homemade essentially, for the same price. So that's what I bought. That was my first disc system on my CoCo, whatever CoCo I had back then, CoCo 2, I think.
Yeah.
So,
what
yeah.
disc controller chip is that?
Yeah, is Western Digital or is it?
Yeah. Don't know if I can see it too well.
That's a Mitsubishi EEPROM, right?
The EEPROM is, yeah.
It's a neat looking. Yeah. So you doubled down and you went into the deep end of the floppy pool right out of the gate with your CoCo.
Exactly.
Well,
I mean, and
Yeah.
when you think about it, it doesn't make sense not to. If you can get twice the, floppies for the same price, then why not? I don't know that we all knew how. As a kid, I only knew it initially. I could only get things through Radio Shack. It wasn't until later on
Well-
you learned about Rainbow magazines and stuff.
Well, that's right. But by the time I got a disc drive, it was 1984. So
Okay.
by then, other people were coming out with disc drives and controllers that were better than the Tandy one. So hence, I thought, why should I pay $600 for an antique disc drive when I could get this one for the same money, being double-sided?
Yeah.
Show us your desk
Way
now.
more functional.
My what?
Your desk.
My desk.
He wants to see your desk. Ron Delvaux is a
Wait,
curious guy. He wants to know what's behind Nick
Yeah, look at
Marotta.
that.
Yeah.
That looks like genuine imitation wood grain.
That
I
is
see,
wood.
I see part of a CoCo there.
Oh, well, that's my CoCo.
All right. Yeah, there.
Oh, look at
Crikey.
that joystick. I got
Crikey.
one of those. That's a good joystick.
Yeah, the Waco, my
Oh,
CoCo
yeah.
3.
I got
Tan-
3 of those.
and-
Gave one to David Ladd.
Is that an 8CM515?
It's Amiga 1081 monitor.
Probably same thing.
What's in
Yeah,
the
I think they
cab?
are the same. And the one on the right's just a TV set, and that's got NTSC.
What's your
So I can
composite
see
tester?
artifacting. That's my composite tester, yeah. It's off most of the time.
and your oft-used multi-pack, I can see. Is,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that one, it doesn't work. I've ordered a 2-slotter from Ed because that one flakes out all the time. So
So that
Yeah.
Amiga monitor has been around a long time, has it? Mine has.
that's pretty well the first one. That's the over here in Australia when the Amiga 1000 came out. That was the monitor that came with it.
Yeah,
And
it's a good monitor.
they are, yeah. And my CM8 had died, and this monitor I had in storage for the last 30 years because I had an Amiga 1000 back in the day, and that's the monitor from it. So when my CM8 died, I thought, oh, what the heck am I going to do now? So I pulled it out of the storage area and powered it up, and it works.
Wow.
That does composite, and it has green too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. That's
RGB
right.
also.
And there's my green.
Oh, nice. Simulated
It's
green
just
screen.
like a Magnavox 8515.
And a
Yeah.
door.
It's got a door.
But the composite is PAL. It's a PAL monitor. So that
By
one.
the way, yeah, they are made by Philips and Magnavox. Those
Yes,
original
that's right. They are.
monitors.
They're all.
Yeah, the same.
They're all
Yeah,
badge engineered. But this one was actually badged Amiga. So this was the very first one. It does have
A
Commodore
door.
under there, though. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it says Commodore.
Ah, okay. But yeah,
But I
it
keep
has
it
a
open.
door. So.
Yeah, I keep it open so that the Commodore isn't visible.
Well, they are great monitors. They are really.
You are
absolutely.
a true blue. You are true blue. I love that.
There you go.
What else you got?
Oh,
My
that's
goodness.
bad.
What's in your fridge, Nick? I think Ron Delvaux wants to
What's
know.
in my
He's getting
fridge?
hungry. What do you got in the fridge?
And that one, is that the one that has the RGB input on SCART?
Ah, there's the Amiga.
Yes, it does. Yeah, and that's my Amiga 4000.
Nice.
I want to know where he keeps the Vegemite.
Hopefully
in the
buried in the
fridge.
ground somewhere.
Is that a hard drive thing you got? You can put hard drives in between. Over to the
What's
left.
that?
Over to the left. A little gizmo.
Just give a
Right
guy
there.
a tour and
these-
answer all his
Yeah,
questions.
that's the little caddy. I got one of those things too. It's like a toaster.
Yeah,
You can plug
I got
in.
one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Anything else? Any personal effects?
Australia.
Oh well.
Take us through your
What-
sock drawer if you don't
What's
mind.
in your medicine cabinet? What's your daily carry?
Yep.
What are those little blue pills?
Oh, dear God.
Are there any boxes in your attic?
Unlike Steve, are you wearing pants?
We are going off the deep end here, folks. All right. Well, the
counts as
train,
a Zoom uniform.
as much as this show is a train wreck, it's going to stay on the rails. But what we're going to do, we might have more to talk about, but I need a break. I need a potty break, and just to get up and stretch and decongest from all of this going on. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot to take in, a lot to soak in. By the way, we got a response from Chris Durys. He's the one who said he got an MC10 for $36. Somebody who jokingly said the shipping was $200. He says no, it was only $17.97. So good job there.
Nice.
And so on and so forth. So, yeah, we're going to take a break. Brian Wieseler wants to get back in. Should we put it to a vote? All in favor of letting Brian Wieseler back on the call? Say aye. Okay, anyone's
Sure.
opposed?
We'll see how long he lasts this time. He's been on and off.
So what we're going to do for our first break is we haven't told you who is new to Discord in a while, and I think Alan Murphy compiled the list for me. I think the last time I updated this was in November, so this is pre-Christmas, pre-New Year. So usually it's a half a dozen people to talk about, and usually it takes about a minute and a half. But there's been so many people that have joined Discord since the last time I welcomed them publicly on this show that we are now going to be treated to a whopping 6 minutes of Who's New to Discord. So this is a great time to smoke them if you got them, drain them if you got to, make a sandwich, cut your grass. We'll be back after Who's New to Discord this quarter. This is like the 3-month review of Who's New to Discord. So let me go ahead and share sound.
Pack a lunch, everybody.
Pack a lunch, and we'll be back with more updates, acquisitions, and what's in your closet. What's in your wallet? Ron Delvaux wants to know. We'll be back after these words.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Who's New to Discord This Week?
Please welcome Alley Cat Allison. She started with the 16K CoCo 1 and getting started with Color Basic. She recently released Xenocide and Private Ledger and is working on Jump Ship. Glendo72 says, I've probably got one of the largest collections of anything pertaining to the CoCo or MC10. Love to just see everything all you coconuts do and are continuing to do for the CoCo community. Recycle Mikey from Mike's Tech Channel is looking for a CoCo 3 and is watching CoCo shows on YouTube. Pyrodoc says, I'm interested in retro systems, which led to a purchase of the Apple IIe and eventually a CoCo. He's on a rampant search for answers as to how to get his keyboard ribbon back in without breaking it. Mad Builder TX says he's an old TRS-80, including the CoCo and Model 3 user from back in the 80s, and is just recently getting back into the hobby, having recently acquired a Model 4. In addition to the Model 4, he still has his original CoCo 1 and 2 and Model 100 in storage. Federico says when he's a kid, his father bought him a CoCo 2. He still has that in working condition. He's had more free time this year than in others, which is what got him ended up back into the 6809 and this wonderful computer. Ravenwolf says he's had a CoCo 2 35 years ago and is getting back into it. He bought a CoCo 2 off eBay a few weeks ago and just bought a souped up CoCo 3. D-Baser came across the CoCoTALK show on YouTube and it got his gears turning. Looking to learn more and hopefully pull the trigger on a system to play with. Gary D attended some of the Rainbow Fests in Chicago in the 80s. Trey Tomes learned to program on the CoCo 3 back in the 80s and picked it up again a bit over a year ago. SC CoCo 1 says he had a CoCo since 85. He's getting back into the hardware side. He's got an SDC and is learning about Pi DriveWire. Tom Heron started with the Sinclair ZX80 in 81, and then he went from the CoCo 1 through CoCo 3 throughout the 80s. His main goal these days is to write a decent basic 09 game. Amiga Forever says, I really like the Color Computer and Tandy Radio Shack machines like the TRS-80. Alpha 66 Alessandro says, I'm a fan of the 6809, asking about a keyboard/sampler that uses the 6809. St. Cube Salvador says, I'm a Spanish retro computer enthusiast and I love the CoCo Pi distribution, mainly for the Dragon computer, which was born in Wales and later became part of a Spanish company. Slore says, I'm into Atari, Commodore, and of course the CoCo and whatever else I get my hands on. I spent a good amount of time on an MC10 demo a few years ago. EJ Jacquet Ed says he's into VCC and Nitrous 9 programming. Sean Stuckless says, I started out with computers back in the 80s and later saved up enough money to buy a CoCo 3. I'm currently playing around with the CoCo 3 on MAME and getting to know again some of the old software I wrote as a teenager. Tom Gunn says the Dragon 32 was his first computer that he got back in 83. He just got a CoCo 2 that's not working that he hopes to convert to a CoCo Pi. JWSE30 says, my first machine was an MC10, which I later upgraded to a whopping 20K of RAM with the tape recorder and TP10 printer. I've also had a CoCo 2 and 3 and lots of peripherals. I'm wanting to get another CoCo as well as a few other Tandy machines. Digital Bites Owen says, I started with the gray chiclet CoCo 1 that my parents bought for family at Christmas when I was 12. Like many, I've got a box full of floppies with what is essentially a diary of my teens, and I want to ensure that they survive. Rammer Retrotech says, I collect older laptops, however, I would like to get a TRS-80 system if I had the space. I'm trying to see if Radio Shack had a server. Puyan Suede Elaine says, I got my first TRS-80 in 1978. I'm also a computer science teacher. A. Jacques Tony says, I bought a CoCo 1 in '83 when I was in junior high school. I have got 2 of each model and 2 MC10s. Monza Mess says the CoCo 1 was his first computer. He's got a broken CoCo 3 somewhere in the postal system on its way that he hopes to fix. His researching of the Gimme X is what brought him to Discord. Wizard NJ says, I've been collecting vintage hardware for quite a while. I've been searching for a CoCo 3 for a little bit now. Brian says, I didn't use a CoCo back then, but over the decades, I've become increasingly interested in the nostalgia of retro computing and video gaming. I also acquired a couple of CoCos a few years ago, and I've enjoyed learning all about them. Henry says, my first home computer was the 4K CoCo that my family purchased shortly after its release. I'd really like to get my hands on a Wolfbug-based setup in some form or fashion. C. Durys says, my first computer was a 16K CoCo 2. My goals are to build a CoCo 3 system and keep saving old CoCo stuff. I like old computers says, I really like old computers. What do you guys think of getting into the TRS-80 related stuff? And Michael from Retro Logic Lab says, I come from a Tandy Radio Shack family. My dad opened 2 of the first Radio Shacks in Canada. My biggest area of interest at the moment is probably C programming, and in particular, working with the CoCo via remote terminals. And as always, we'd love to get a special thanks to Boyson Tech, David Ladd, Jim Rye, Paul Fiscarelli, Rob Inman, Terry Steege, and our CoCoTALK patrons for boosting our Discord server. You can join the CoCo community on Discord by going to discord.cocotalk.live. See y'all on Discord! All right, so we are back. That was 6 minutes of everyone's life. But listen, why are we here? Why do we do this show? We are a show about the CoCo. We are a show for the CoCo community. Part of one of the resources we have for the CoCo community is our CoCo Discord server. So we do like to say hi there to those who join us. And unfortunately, I have been very negligent at doing that on an even semi-regular basis. So we had a lot to catch up on. So if you've joined us on Discord, thanks for being here. If you're new to Discord, thanks for joining us. For those who are on Discord a lot, thanks for being here. And there's a lot of camaraderie and communicating going on, a lot of knowledge sharing, a lot of questions being answered, a lot of projects being talked about. So Discord has just become one of the invaluable resources to the community. We're very fortunate that we've got so many resources at our disposal. We've got the mailing list. We've got a Facebook group. Matter of fact, Ron Delvaux's got several dozen Facebook groups. We've got there's a lot of ways to communicate and collaborate, and Discord's one of them. And it works. It's not none of them are perfect. They've all got their pros and cons, but Discord has a lot of value added things we can do with it, with kind of having these discussion forum like rooms and being able to have voice conversations and all kinds of stuff. So if you haven't checked out Discord, maybe check it out and see if Discord, ask your doctor if Discord is right for you. And so
remember, David Ladd's on Discord.
Warning and disclaimer. If you join Discord, David Ladd does make several frequent appearances. Ooh, so he's there. Who else had a project update, acquisition, story to tell? Who has got a feeling they want to share? Anyone? We got to see Nick Marentes' very cool floppy controller, something that not a lot of us have seen. That's kind of cool. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. We will have more to talk about later in the show with Frodo and Boat from the Amigos show, so look forward to that. I'll just give you guys an update on things that have been in the works and will continue to be in the works, and things that have been occupying my time for the past few weeks. And this is a real world of examples. When life hands you lemons, let's make some lemonade. So let's talk about some of the lemons, and let's talk about the lemonade that I'm working on. So a few weeks ago, there was a copyright strike on my YouTube channel, which is still impacting me. It does prevent me from live streaming on that channel. It does put my channel at risk of being taken down from YouTube. And so that was a wake-up call for me that says, you know what, I've got 5 years of content, and I don't necessarily have copies of all of my content. And there's a lot out there. I'm not saying it's all good, but there's a lot of it anyway. So it took me about a week from when the CS happened, when the copyright strike happened, but it took me about a week of hours and hours and hours per day downloading my videos and storing them on a USB hard drive and organizing them by folders. But what's the lemonade to that? Well, I've got all my content that I needed. That's good for me. But I also have all this content that I'm going to be moving over to the I Am a Coconut channel and just organizing and arranging. We've got so many interviews that we've done that probably a lot of people have never even seen. I've got so many gameplay videos I've done. I've got all these things. So step one is we have a backup on another YouTube channel. I've got a backup for myself. I actually plan on making copies of these files now and mailing hard drives to people who want to work on creating more content from this content. So perfect example, Sloopy has volunteered to maybe edit some stuff and create some edits. And so I'm going to send him a hard drive that has every single CoCoTALK episode ever. And now he can work on creating the best ofs or highlights or things like that. And so we've got some really talented people out there like Brian Joyce and Ken Reichert and Rob Inman and stuff like that. So if you're a person who has made content for the show in the past and you would like a copy of the entire archive of interviews and CoCoTALK shows, let me know, and I'll save you the bandwidth, and I'll save you the trouble of having to waste your own hard drive space. I'll mail you a hard drive with my entire library on it for you to use to make more content that we can use for the community. I would love to have like a highlight show once a week where we've got the highlights of this week's show. We can have weekly highlights that can then feed into a year-end review, the best of the year, stuff like that. So I would love to have help in that respect. And so calling for volunteers. I am still looking at podcast alternatives because of the fact that I've become very aware that YouTube can and will take you down for no good reason and possibly cause you to lose everything you've ever done. I'm going to be looking into audio and video podcasting solutions where I can post contents of everything. So I'm going to have the audio version of CoCoTALK. I'll have the video version of CoCoTALK. We can set up a whole separate feed for just all the interviews that we've done. We can have a whole separate feed for like all the games, a whole nother feed for like all the how-to videos. So not only can you get these things on YouTube, but if you want to be a video podcast and watch it on your iPad or watch it on something else like that, these things will be there too, where you can get this content a lot of other ways as well, just to make it more accessible to those who want to consume it and to give myself a platform that can't be taken from underneath my feet, right? So that's something that will be an ongoing progress, and that was the kind of the lemonade that was made from somebody trying to screw me over. Another thing that happened was I spent this past week trying to get all of my websites back on because of a company that we'll just refer to as GoDaddy decided to shut down all of my hosting because of my unlimited plan. Apparently wasn't truly unlimited. So I spent about 3 or 4 days of hours and hours of my time fighting the good fight against the corporate evil a-holes. I finally got the fact that I have my websites are live again, because there was actually, I want to say thank you to Antonio Jimenez, our good friend, who if anything is wrong, he's going to let me know. Monday morning, I'm going to get a message. He's like, dude, CoCoTalk.live is down. I'm like, holy F-balls, Batman. So I had to, and that was all week. So what I've done is I've set up a whole new hosting platform, and I'm going to be eventually reposting all my websites, but it's like, okay, this is a great opportunity for some housekeeping and some cleanup. And one of my pet projects that I've really wanted to redo is the whole imacoconut.com website, which is a resource site of links, right? So I'm going to redo that whole site, and I'm going to find a way to make it more serviceable to the viewers. And I'm hoping I can find a way where people could actually upload their own links. Because as of now, I've had to manually update these pages and change things and add things. I would love it if somebody's familiar with WordPress and knows of some good WordPress plugins. I'd like this to be kind of a self-service portal where if Bob's got a blog, Bob can log in and say, hey, my name is Bob. Here's the name of my blog. Here's the website to my blog. This is the category it falls under. I could then review that and say, yes, that's good, and make it live, and it'll show up on the blog list. So I'd love to have this self-servicey way where anybody can add content to imacoconut.com, because my vision for that website and the catchphrase for that website was, this is your one-stop shop for all your color computer needs, right? If anything you need to know, it's going to be on this site. And that's reasonably true, but not completely encompassing, so I want to improve that. So that's a project that will be happening in the coming weeks and whatnot. So those are some of the things that I'll be working on behind the scenes to make some of these resources streamlined, more visually pleasing, and hopefully more relevant and applicable to those who would benefit from them. And again, more lemonades from the lemons that I have to deal with from time to time. So that's some stuff I'll be working on behind the scenes. That's my update. Anybody else, anyone have anything they need to talk about?
Is the whole lemon lemonade thing while you're wearing the yellow hat today?
Not at all, just a coincidence.
Okay.
So that is all we have to say about that. And we've just been joined by BoatOfCar of the Amigos Retro Gaming Group. What's going on, Boat?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for being here.
I'm glad that I haven't missed Game On yet.
You haven't missed Game On. We were getting ready to start, but we were also going to talk about updates, and I know you have an update. Do you want to do your update now or after the Game On?
Wherever. I can do it now if you want.
We can do it now because Nick Marotta likes to have full attention on him. So let's
Sure.
not confuse people with anything that's not about Nick Marotta.
And Frodo, do you want to do yours right after?
That's
Boat?
okay. I'll go back to sleep.
Yeah, I can do mine directly after Boat, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a new episode of the CoCo Show. The CoCo Show is it's pretty much going to be a monthly show, I think, that Aaron, my co-host, and I do, where we don't talk about anything other than games. that is our focus, and each episode we talk about a different game. This week's episode is Pegasus and the Phantom Riders. I know that the the buzzard bait versus Lancer debate goes on continuously. But for my money, the best Joust related game on the CoCo is Pegasus and the Phantom Riders. There's just something about the graphics, the animation. It really sets it apart, in my opinion. But anyway, you can hear Aaron and I about that and talk about our own histories riding flying mounts, which is certainly interesting. So anyway, if you want even more CoCo action in your life, you can listen to the CoCo Show from any podcatcher. Just look up the CoCo Show. It'll be right under the Conan O'Brien podcast. Poor choice of names on our part. Or you can find us on the Amigos Retro Gaming YouTube channel.
And Twitch channel too, right?
And Twitch also, yeah, twitch.tv/Amigos Retro Gaming.
Very cool. Now, what's your next CoCo project going to be, or is that still in the bag?
We have not decided yet.
Okay.
I'm going to let Aaron choose the next one because I picked one last time. So we may reveal that on next week's CoCoTALk.
Okay, very cool.
You should start wearing a red wig and try and snag some of Conan O'Brien's fans.
That's true. That's true. Maybe build up the beard a little bit. I can see that.
Excellent news. Thank you for sharing. Those Amigo guys, great asset to the color computer community. We'd love having you.
Yeah, we enjoy being here, and of course, if you're a fan of the Amiga or the Atari 8-bit or even the ZX Spectrum, we do podcasts on all those shows. So if you like classic computers, give us a sub. We'll make you happy.
Yeah, and if you want real esoteric ones, you can watch ARG Presents.
That's right. That's
show
right.
That Boat
ARG
said
Presents.
yesterday he has no idea what it's about, but
they do all the wild and wacky, the Cyberco and all the wacky handheld stuff you've never heard of in your life. The Cougar Boy, that's a real thing. That's a real handheld.
The Cougar Boy, no relation to the Jaguar.
No. Okay. Unfortunately.
Pegasus did surprisingly well in our clones.
Yeah.
It actually
was
came
my
in
preferred one.
It was one vote shy of being number one.
Wow.
Really? I had no idea it was that close.
Yeah.
I preferred Pegasus. Absolutely.
That's
It was a great game.
So it was Buzzard Bait, and then Pegasus by one vote less than Buzzard Bait, and then Lancer was a distant third.
Now I can't remember out of the people on the call, who are the Lancer people? Who are dying on the Lancer hill?
I prefer the mechanics of Lancer.
Yeah, the mechanics of Lancer too. Graphics and sound is not as good, I will admit that, but the feel it's better than the other two for me.
But people loved the Pegasus graphics, and like you said, it was a unique take on it.
It was definitely a different take on it. It was
what killed it for some of us was the gravity. It was just the gravity is very strong.
Yeah.
So that was the one. That was what I didn't like about it.
And,
Other than that, it was a great game.
Well, actually, on Nick Marotta, it's a horse. They're heavy, okay?
Yeah, but does that matter?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried jumping off a cliff with a horse versus an ostrich? The horse definitely goes faster.
The ostrich at least have wings.
Horses don't have wings, technically.
Technically, well, Pegasuses do. Okay. Hello.
Isn't gravity the same, but it's the air resistance which determines the speed you fall at, or something? I don't know. I don't know.
Let's not get all scientific on us now, Nick Marotta. Come on, don't confuse me.
It's time for physics.
Stop interrupting
with Nick
us
Marotta.
with these facts of yours.
Yes, that's right.
You're already a physicist in the audience.
All right,
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
That's right. Next up, we also have someone who has an update for us. We have Press the Button Frank FrodoNL. And what have you got to tell us about Frodo?
Yeah, well, I'm sharing some video of Manic Miner. This is the Spectrum version. As some of you may know, I have a Twitch channel these days, and I had a community challenge for people to give points to make me play Manic Miner for a complete stream of at least 2 hours.
Okay.
And they made enough points, so for some reason they seem to like to see that. And I will be doing that on multiple systems. The version you're seeing here, the Spectrum, is the original one, but I will also be doing a number of other systems, including the CoCo version, which is an unofficial version, but that will be next Saturday from about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard.
Okay.
And
so before CoCoTALK.
Yes.
Okay.
I normally end. What's that?
It'd be a good lead-in.
It'd be a good lead-in show.
Right.
Yeah. For instance, if you want, you can come watch, because it will probably be about 3-4 hours long, because I have at least 9 versions that I have to go to. They will all be on the Mister, including an interesting one, because most of them are home computer games, of course, but there's also one console conversion, and that's the Game Boy Advance.
Really?
And I will be playing that one too. Yes. Yeah. That's
And what's your Twitch channel there, Frodo?
FrodoNL.
So Twitch,
nice and easy.
Twitch.tv/FrodoNL. And if you are following CoCoTALK on Twitch, we are hosting Frodo. So when we're not live, if Frodo is, he'll show up on the CoCoTALK Twitch channel as well. So Twitch.tv/FrodoNL. Yeah, I like this. So the unofficial CoCo version, is that the one that was through the AGD, the Arcade Game Development portal?
No.
This was an official Dragon version, just the CoCo never had one, as 60 just pointed out in the chat. The Dragon version was official.
Okay, Dragon version of Maniac Miner was official and better. Wink. So, and this is where you can kind of see some of the color things here, where you like your color can. It's kind of like the semi-graphics thing, where you can only have one color in black. So sometimes the white guy's face would turn red or yellow depending on what he was close to.
Yeah, the Spectrum had that issue, because this is a Spectrum version. They had the issue that it had 2 colors per character cell.
Right.
So a foreground and a background. So you can have different backgrounds, but only one per cell.
So when cells collide, only one color becomes the prominent color.
That's like our semi-graphics.
That's kind of like semi-graphics.
This is actually the best case scenario here in a platformer.
Yes.
The use of color in this version was pretty ingenious. He made sure there are a few points, but there aren't many points where it really disturbs you, because most of the time you hardly see it.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a game from 1983. It was something very special. I didn't do the audio for you. I wouldn't do that to you. Today's standards, they are pretty bad, but it was actually two-tone audio on a Spectrum while playing, which was something that was had never been done before. So and it's
did the Specky not have a actual sound chip? Was it like 1-bit audio or something? So
1-bit audio. Yeah, it was just controlling the speaker by bit by bit.
Which is basically what the Apple II does and the CoCo does.
Exactly.
To varying
Yes.
degrees, yeah.
Basic
Okay.
CoCo. Yeah.
Oh, look at the flapping toilet.
Yeah. I'm actually, by the way, playing this live right now.
Oh,
so this
look
is a
at
bit
you.
of a precursor to the stream.
Okay.
Sneak preview.
Yeah, I like it. It's neat. It is definitely neat looking. And
Yeah, it was an amazing game for the time, and I still enjoy it. It's I can't finish it anymore. I used to be able to finish it. Nowadays, I can't. but
Is there a quote
I can still
unquote
make it
end?
through a
Is
few
there
levels.
is there a finish to the game?
There is 20 levels, and after that, you automatically start again. But,
okay, so it
just
wraps.
the 20 levels. You want to finish 20 levels. I can make it through the first 7 or 8 if I really
Okay.
put in the effort.
He's doing it live, as Ken points
And
out.
if I remember reading, I think the Dragon / CoCo version had one extra level or something, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. There are some versions, I will have to look it up, because there are some versions that have a bit different levels. The BBC version, for instance, also has a different level. That's one that will also be in there. But, and for instance, the Commodore 16 version has no audio apart from some beeps, but no music and stuff like that. So everyone has their own version, but it's a bit of a shame. There's one version I would love to be able to show, but that's a bit difficult. That is for the Z88, a portable computer that's not unlike, as to looks, the Model 100, but I cannot stream that.
Wow,
which is a bit of a
there's
shame.
no Pac-Man influence on this level here, is there? The ghost.
No, not
and
at all. Pure coincidence.
Yeah, we completely made this up. This is totally original. Swear.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's got legs.
Scout's honor.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one programmer, Matthew Smith, who after this made 2 or 3 more games, and then got some issues, which meant that he decided to leave game design for a while. And
He sort of
actually-
fell off the face of the earth for a long time, if I recall.
Yeah, he turned out he ended up in the Netherlands in a commune, and he resurfaced towards, this is always a difficult jump, towards 2000, and he's now back in gaming, from what I understand, at least last I heard. But I will be looking up some stuff before my stream Saturday.
Okay.
Well,
I'm pretty sure it had something to do with Rick Ulland's neighbor. I think he was spending some quality time with her. So.
Yeah, well, it's. I know there was a lot of disappointment in him. That was stupid. In him because of the way he was treated by his original publisher. That's why he started his own company later on and published the game again under his own company, and then published later ones too. But he was,
It's kind of what happened with.
He was also young.
That happens on every platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was rather young. He was doing this from his bedroom, basically, the first games, and
Now, Frodo, all of Matthew's games are pretty much this game, right? I mean, the sequel, Jet Set Willie, is pretty much the same thing. He never really went outside this kind of single screen, flip screen platformer type deal, right?
Well, yeah, to some degree. There is, I think there was one game that he made later on, but I don't really know it at the moment. But there is one that was later on that was a bit different. But most of them were these kind of games, yeah. But he was very good at it, as you can see. He made great game.
Did this computer, were these hardware-based sprites, or is this kind of like on the CoCo,
Nope.
where everything's done through
Nope.
software-based collision detection? There's
No sprites whatsoever. This is all...
okay.
Yeah.
So this is
this would
basically
be-
like a CoCo 3-ish graphics mode because of the amount of color.
Yeah.
It's got more color in a high-res mode than we had on the CoCo 1 and 2.
Yes.
I've always thought that if the CoCo were as big as the Nintendo Entertainment System, then we would have the breadth of titles that look like the Spectrum titles, because the Spectrum and the CoCo are so similar in terms of their limitations, but the adoption of the Spectrum was so much more widespread than the CoCo was, that people would write for it that ordinarily might not have written for the CoCo in the States because we had other options.
Yeah, the Spectrum had the positive thing that it was extremely cheap, was also cheaply made. And that meant that a lot of people got it, and they this is always a difficult jump.
But just to show how good this programming is on this particular program, what the Specky really had was a high resolution, one color and transparent, and then a very low resolution, like letter sized background color.
Yeah, it's
the tile.
the
Color
and
tile.
background is character tiles, which is
so you have
32
no-
by 24. Yeah.
Basically, so no resolution for color at all, and you have the one high-res screen. And he's making it look like you have high resolution in every color just by cleverly positioning.
So this is kind of the software version of putting clear colored film on top of your CRTs like they did with Space Invaders, right? You're putting
You have
colors in
rectangular
spots.
blocks that you can define a color for each block,
Okay.
a fixed position. And then the actual graphics mode is the same as P Mode 4. It's 256 by 192.
That is
256 by 192 and 32 by 24 characters.
okay. So not much different than the CoCo resolution, but yeah, having that color attribute really sells the video game. You know.
Yeah. I want to mention Sixie, our friend from the UK there and the author of Xroar. Mentions is the Penguin cheat lets you use the break key, then a letter from A to V, with U being the Dragon user's bonus level and V being the end level on the Dragon version. So,
So if you want to jump straight to the bonus level, you would hit break key and then V for victory, and that would take you to that bonus screen. Or no, not A, U. U is the bonus level.
Yeah,
You guys. Okay, that's a cool game. So this is next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that is awesome, and we look forward to that. And thank you for sharing that with us on the show, because sharing
You're very welcome.
is caring. Anything else you want to say to that, Frodo, or anybody else who want to chime in on the ZX Spectrum and its games and all that kind of stuff?
I will mention one thing on the Spectrum. I mean, one of the reasons Pear did the AGD game conversion from taking games that were written for the Spectrum under that one engine and convert over the CoCo is because the graphics mode is literally identically the same. It's the exact same bit mapping and everything else, except for the color, which is why the Spectrum ported games on the CoCo are just plain black and white. But basically, the graphics you can just do literally pixel for pixel for a dead match.
Yeah, and there has been some rumblings of them converting that engine to work on the WordPack 2, which uses a MSX2 graphics chip with 16 colors and has a sound chip. So to take all those specky games and get 16 real colors on them using that same engine would be great. You know, be a great addition to the CoCo and to the Dragon. You know, having that kind of stuff.
Yamaha V9958, I think.
One of those. Yeah. I had a Kawasaki KZ650 at one point in time. All right, so this is where we get to Nick Marotta's favorite part of the show, where his name is mentioned several times. We've been doing this an hour and a half already. We haven't even gotten to the good parts of the show yet. This is the warm-up. This is the appetizer, the foreplay, if you will. But get
I was in the
ready.
middle of a good dream. I was dreaming about Rick Ulland's neighbor.
So we are getting ready for Nick Marotta's favorite part of the show. This is the High Score Game On Challenge results, hosted by Nick Marotta. But as always, we seg our way into this segment with a CoCo Thoughts by Samuel Gimes, the deep thinker of the CoCo community. And typically, Samuel Gimes gets inspired by the game of the week, and his CoCo Thoughts have been more about song parodies than deep thoughts, but we love them nonetheless. And Ron Delvaux is a huge fan of these song parodies. Ask anyone. I think he's got a Facebook group on it called My Favorite Samuel Gimes Song Parodies by Ron Delvaux. So here we go. Let's start off with CoCo Thoughts. We'll come back for reactions, and then we'll move on into the results.
And now, CoCo Thoughts by Samuel Gimes.
They tell us that we cannot fail. Our planet can be very frail. Can we even avoid hell? Are we not doomed?
Is this Devo?
Demon attack. Are we not hosed? Demon attack.
Oh my god. I was really confused at first.
We're dead meat now. Flush down the hole. We're dead meat all. Spaceship explodes. Are we not doomed? Demon attack. Are we not warped? Demon attack. Are we not screwed? Demon attack.
I want whatever they were smoking when they made this
Men
song.
all try to aim and shoot. All of the gunners miss and go poof. Are we not hosed? Demon attack. Are we not doomed? Demon attack. Are we not hosed? Demon attack. Are we not doomed? Demon attack.
Wow,
I wish I
man.
had one of those red hats that they wear.
Yes, the flower hats. Yeah,
Dome. Yes.
this that's a lot to take in. I'm gonna say my head hurts, not because it gave me a headache, just my brain had a lot to absorb. The music was just different. I am very aware of Devo the band. What song was that? Is that what was that?
Are we not men?
Homo.
What is it?
Are we not men?
Homo from Question, Are We Not Men?
Are we not men? Okay. Okay.
Okay, I need a beer after that.
Something tells me that wasn't Ron Delvaux's kind of music. We're wrong.
We are doomed.
We are doomed.
We are.
Ron, do you have a lot of Devo in your music collection?
I have no Devo.
Oh.
Although my name sounds like it a little
Right.
bit.
Ron Devo, yeah.
Hey, Ron, let me just tell you something, Ron. When a problem comes along, you must whip it. All right. So,
That
there
was
we go.
good. I like
you like
that.
that? You like that? That's
I
my
like
job. Johnny on the spot with the quips. Reactions to that was something else.
I really liked the video. I liked this one. It was really
Yeah,
good.
it
I
was
liked
definitely creative and
I wasn't
and-
a huge Devo fan other than Whip It, but
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Okay. Good job, Samuel L. Gimes, keeping us on our toes. Who would have ever imagined that would have been this? We're always thinking, what's he going to do? What song is he going to pick? What's he going to do? Never in a million years would I thought of anything Devo related, but this guy does it.
If I remember correctly, too, I think Weird Al Yankovic did one of his accordion medleys, and I think
Oh,
he did that
okay.
song in there too, if I remember.
Okay.
Are we not men? We are Devo.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, without any further ado, let's get right into with the high score results, and let's get where Nick Marotta's name is mentioned a couple times here because he likes that. Here we go.
High Score Challenge.
All right, and welcome to another week of results. This week we played Demon Attack with 30 scores submitted. CoCo Discord user 380. Mark B 435. Nathan 630. Michael Wieseler 915. David Ladd 1380. Marcy 1500. Damon Beals 2000 even. OG Stevie Strow 2030.
All right.
Me
I'm not in dead last place.
2040. Cat Lord 2275.
Oh, that's usually my spot.
JWSC 30 2405. FrodoNL 2835. David Craker 2920. AC's 8-Bit Zone 3020.
Good job.
8-Bits in the Basement 3150. Aaron 3155. Rich N 3250. Canadian Retro Things 3280. Sloopy 3765.
He did better than that last night.
4495.
Like 13K.
BoatOfCar 4935.
Top 10, baby. Oh, yeah.
RL Murphy 6000.
Yeah, take that, Aaron.
Jim Rice 6145.
Aaron likes to pretend he's the game master.
Brian Wieseler 6635. Curtis Boyle 6720. Tom C 7000.
Tom Seed got into 12Ks last night, too.
8070. MrDave6309 8330.
I gotta
Buck
beat
Owens 12565. And the number one score this week belongs to Paul Shoemaker with 19,995.
Paul Lee! Paul Lee!
Nice job.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Great
man.
job.
30
Another week of
players.
gaming.
Wow.
That's why Paul came on. He wanted to brag.
Yes, I
Yes.
was here for bragging rights.
That must be
Yeah, he had 5 minutes before supper, Curtis, you bastard.
Well, obviously, he had 10 minutes.
Oh, awesome. It is a wicked hard game, yo. So,
It is.
good job there, Paulie Shoemaker. What's your secret?
That was lucky. I did that one time, and I couldn't get over 9,000 pretty much every other time that I played. I think I got a 12,000 or a 13,000 once. But the secret was I was playing right behind me at the same time that I was at a conference call for work. So the secret is like... The multitasking.
It's just about as bad as this. I just had 5 minutes before supper.
Right.
I was on a conference call when I was supposed to be doing work.
So real quick, I want to say hi to Maiden Ariana. It says, hi all, I learned of you from VCF Midwest 2019. Nice to catch you live. Well, thank you, Maiden Ariana, for catching us live, and welcome to CoCoTALK. Oh man, that is awesome, Paul. You have historically done very well. You're a good player. You must just have patience and dexterity and I don't know, skill or something. I don't know, but
he's younger than the rest of us.
All these
isn't
things
he?
you don't have, Stevie.
It's just it was just blind luck. And at one point I started to figure out a little bit of a strategy and approach. It's like, and I think it was mentioned on Discord, and it didn't occur to me what was happening. I wasn't sure how I was getting free, new players, free ships, whatever.
You have to not die during the round.
Evidently, you have to not die. It just there at the end, I would, I'd pretty much die every time I got to the mothership towards the end, the harder it gets. But I would manage to get through the next level without getting killed, and so I could ride that wave for the last few.
Yeah, we'll see that. This is so again, gameplay footage provided by Canadian Retro Things,
who does not file copyright strikes for us showing his content on our show.
No, and he's very happy that we show his videos on our show.
Yeah.
And,
Actually, Nick, before you go on here, we got a question from Buck in the chat there. He said 30 participants. Is that a record for Game On?
It's up there. We may have had one a little bit higher than that, but it's definitely up there.
But it's good, and we're rounding out our first year, so that's nice that we kind of closed. This was a great pick, Nick Marotta, honestly.
Thank you.
This was a great pick. It's a great game. It's a classic game. Obviously, most of us first became aware of this on the Atari 2600, and this game really pushed that platform with the graphics and the sound and the colors, Activision. This was it Activision? It was Activision.
No, it was
iMagic. That's right,
iMagic.
iMagic. But this game, this was groundbreaking. Obviously inspired by Phoenix, the arcade game Phoenix, where the kind of birds kind of warp together on screen but yeah.
So you see the ship just appeared, a third ship.
Yeah, it kind of pops up on the screen when you do that. So yeah, one strategy is to just not die all the way up to the mothership and rack up as many extra lives making your way to that mothership. Unfortunately, if you die once during the mothership battle, it's over and it just moves on to a whole new round. It'd be nice if you could keep trying to get that biatch.
I think it puts you back a level, because then when you beat that level,
right, and then you'll keep alternating until you get past it. Yeah, that is true. Some
people. So the only complaints I heard was some people found that the moon graph at the bottom made it a little bit hard to see the shots. So it was. You definitely wanted to move.
I think they just need new glasses.
So there was a few comments on the video saying, yeah, this version looks a lot better than the Atari 2600 version, but it's not apples and apples. This is on a high resolution screen on a better processor in the whole 9 yards. So there's more horsepower and resources to throw at the game here. So they had the luxury to put this whole backdrop in there, which is kind of eye candy. But yeah,
the television version does this too. It does have the demon at the end, because the Atari version doesn't even have that big demon creature.
Right. The bonus round.
So I'm confused. Was the arcade game then Phoenix, or was the arcade game also called?
No. The arcade game.
So there was no arcade game.
There was no Demon Attack arcade game. This was derived. It was kind of a derivative / clone of Phoenix in the arcade.
Oh, okay.
But didn't Phoenix also get a release on the 2600 through iMagic too?
I don't know if they did first-party titles or if they only did their own. Honestly, I don't know, but
they did some first party. I can't remember if Phoenix was one of them. Yeah.
So Just Mike and Chuck points out this is one of those games where if you press clear, you get the P Mode 3 color set. And that one is a little bit easier to see the.
Yeah, if you can see it behind me, it's on the TV on the one side of my head.
Okay, so it looks like Phoenix did get a 2600 release, but it was a first-party release. So iMagic basically took that idea and created Demon Attack around
it. Yeah.
I hated those small
programmer
birds.
for Demon Attack was Rob Fulop, who had programmed 3 games for Atari itself before splitting off to help form iMagic. So he was well versed in the Atari 2600's architecture before taking on Demon Attack.
Okay.
Done things like Night Driver and several others.
Okay, yeah.
I believe the Missile Command for the Atari 2600 was also him.
Interesting.
So yeah, and the moon is actually in the backstory from the original Atari 2600 version, but they didn't have any graphics to show other than the horizontal line across. But it's supposed to be you're defending this ice moon from these demons.
Okay. And I was kind of torn between the two artifact color sets. Like, did the Demon Attack logo look better in red or blue? Did the moon in the background look better as a red moon or a blue moon? And I kind of tried them both ways. I think I ended up settling on I like the blue moon in the red Demon Attack graphics. I'm not sure which one was right or wrong. It both looked good.
Yeah.
But yeah, a nice looking game. I've seen some cracked version of this where the author's name was wiped out or blanked out with other things. So on the ROM cartridge version of this, you get the full author's name on there in the version and everything else.
So the author who wrote this was employed at the time that he wrote this by iMagic, and it wasn't just done by a programmer for hire.
The original version of Demon Attack was iMagic's programmer Rob Fulop. The CoCo version was programmed by Mark Vorsinger.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and 60 points out something too, because I noticed that some of the emulators really had trouble with this in the early days. And he was wondering what led him to do sound in such an odd way in this game. And I have heard that the sound routines in this are quite strange by CoCo standards, though I don't know the details.
He might not have known any. He might have just done it the way he was able to figure out. Like, if he's not a native 6809 programmer and wasn't
Yeah,
familiar
because
with
I do remember that like a lot of the emulators with Demon Attack comes out with just constant buzzing noise in the background that never stops.
When I was playing this last night, I was doing this on the CoCo Pi in MAME on one of the most recent MAME releases, and the only sound I heard was the occasional clicking, like the clicking in the background, like a heartbeat for each time they flapped, and the clicking of your shots. That's the only sound I heard in the entire game.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it actually sounds on the real hardware.
Oh, okay.
So I remember during the week somebody posted on the Discord channel, why do I focus on the bird who's shooting at me instead of the ones that are higher up and not shooting? And I was doing the same thing.
Right.
For some reason, I tended to focus.
For that. It helps you maintain the ability to move anywhere on the screen, so that the bird that's actually shooting at you is also denying you, to an extent, access to the rest of the screen, which is why Stevie keeps getting trapped in the corner when he plays. But if you focus on the bird that's actually shooting, then you also maintain control over the ability to access the rest of the moon.
Oh, right.
I think you got to do both. I think
that's what I did.
You have to, when you've got the opportunity to hit the higher guys, you got to go after them.
But don't let that guy that's shooting corner you.
Yeah.
Right.
No. Definitely not.
Plus, you don't have to get every bird. Like, once you split them, the small ones, some of the small ones can actually just fly past you, and you don't actually have to kill them either. So.
Yeah, because only one of the small birds shoots.
And it's a low-scoring game. Like 10 points per kill is redonkulous. So that makes
it
like
accelerates as you go further levels.
Yeah.
And there's a hack for you there too. If you want to run your score up, sit on the Demon Mothership screen and just shoot more birds rather than shoot it in the eye. Because it'll keep shooting birds out.
So you're just going to keep farming them as long as you don't die.
Yeah, you can farm them on that screen.
Well, as long as you don't die. But towards the end, I found that was the only way for me to try to stay alive. Because as soon as I started trying to target the birds who were in the band there, there were 3 other ones that I would run into by accident. So towards the end, I definitely did, Robert, just shooting birds. And every once in a while I'd miss a bird and hit one above it that would happen to be in the band. And that's how I cleared a couple of them, not even really by targeting them.
Yeah, and the thing
This
I didn't
is kind of a
realize,
weird level.
somebody pointed out that the only way to knock that force field down a notch is you had to kill a bird while he was in the color bar area.
Oh,
I was thinking if I just kept shooting at the thing, I would eventually chip away at it. But somebody pointed out, and I think it was Sloopy who mentioned that unless the bird blows up while he's in the color band of that force field, and because that's when the screen color flashes to let you know, right? And so that then and only then does that take the force field down a notch.
Okay.
So you have
shoot
to
the demon right in the eye.
And then the demon has to be killed dead center eye, not left or right, but center eye.
Okay.
So there are some.
60 was saying the audio, if he recalls correctly, relies upon the voltage difference between the different audio sources. That's basically cycling through the audio sources to create the audio.
So
Which is an odd way to do it.
almost like radio frequency noise being generated by or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it has there's a fair amount of audio going on during the game. It doesn't play, a song or anything in the background, but there's a lot more than just the clicking that evidently you heard, Stevie.
Okay, well then, yeah, it's not being emulated. I'll have to try it on hardware then.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Good game. Good pick, Nick. 30 players is a great
I was
turnout.
pleased with that. Very pleased.
The nearly 20K score, Paul Shoemaker, that's impressive because when you're getting 10 points a kill, that's a lot of kills. I can't even do the math to figure out how many things you actually had to kill to reach 20,000, but it's probably like 20,000 divided by 10. So that's like, what, 2,000 kills or something? I don't know.
I think you get points.
Point values go up as you go up higher.
Oh, do they actually go up? Okay. But anyways, it's a lot of kills. It's a lot of time and a lot of kills. What is Just Mike 68 saying? That was in the manual about the force field. Always read the manual of the game before. Really? Come on.
Yeah, you can teach Stevie that trick.
There's usually a tip or trick you wouldn't know about if not for reading. Yes, that is true, but that's also lame. Who needs to read a book to play a game? Give me the damn joystick. Give me the button. Who do I kill?
The manual is too complex.
That's right. And now you know. And when I say now you know, what do you say?
And knowing is half the battle.
That's right.
The rest of the story.
The rest of the story.
now, Boat, I have a question for you. What was
Is it
your
about
favorite
Paul
part
Harvey?
of
I hope so.
I was wondering, what was your favorite part of this game other than the fact that you absolutely kicked Aaron's ass?
Well, that was my favorite part of the game. But I thought the boss level was really cool. I mean, how many games of this, vintage have a boss level? I thought that was really forward thinking. And it was beautiful too. I mean, in the way that you kill after you wear them down, you kill them with a single shot at the eye. Really cool. Yeah. I thought it was a little bit weird that when you die in that level, you immediately get sent back to a normal level. It would have been neat to get another chance, but that's just the way they designed it.
I think it's a punishment for not killing him, right? You get sent back to that was sort of like the entry to get back to the boss again.
Yeah. But, overall, I thought this was a really good game. One thing that I did notice, and maybe am I the only person that was playing with a deluxe joystick? I noticed the first time that I played this game, the fire button was the one on my finger. The second time I played it, the fire button was the one on my thumb. Is there a way that you can control which one it is?
Not unless you read the joysticks in a weird way. That's two different PIA lines.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be.
I mean, I swear that was the case. The first time I played it, the fire button was the one on my finger, and the second one was the one on top of the stick. So I don't know.
Yeah, it should be the red button normally because it's
okay.
It's a CoCo 1 and 2 game. I also want to mention, speaking of swearing, Aaron just swore at me in Canadian by saying "take off, Curtis."
Take off, eh? You hoser.
Boat kicking his ass. So
good game. Good game. And so if you're new to the show, we are now coming up on a year of doing this segment. That was suggested to us by MrDave6309 now. And so what it is once a week, Nick Marotta will pick a game and then invite everybody to play that game. You don't have to own a real CoCo. You could play these on emulators, and there are a number of emulators
So I've prepared a little bit of material to mark the occasion.
Yes.
So our first game, for those of you who was this one of John's favorite games.
Oh yes.
This was the game that started it all. So yeah, Mr. Dave gave us the idea. It would be good to have some sort of interactive gaming thing going on, and he and I kind of talked back and forth, and we kind of came up with the format we have now, where once a week we have a game that we introduce and people play and submit the scores. So this was our first game, Donkey King, which I have running behind me. And there was our first score list. As you see, Boat and Aaron were both part of the challenge right from the very beginning.
Wow.
And we had 11 people the first time, and we never had a number ever since it's gone up. This was the first week, and we've always had at least like 17-ish people. Anywhere between 17 and 30 is the number of the turnout we get. So yeah, what's my next? Oh, so this is a list of all the games we've played so far. I'm not going to read it for the audio listeners because there's 52 of them, but this is kept current in the Discord channel. So tried to mix it up. We had a combination of different genres.
Yeah,
CoCo 2 versus
I'm going to
CoCo
say, Nick, you've done a great job of making of giving us a good mix. I think over the course of the year, you mix it up between sort of arcadey style games to sort of off the wall choices. Just like last week's maze game or whatever. I really want to, hats off to you, man. You've done a great job with that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, one of the goals of Game On was to introduce to the community and me, because I haven't played all these games myself, different games, different styles, different genres. So part of that is I do take requests. So I appreciate you just send me a message
and
for a game
bribes,
you'd like,
bribes to go along with those requests.
That's
right?
the priority queue, as I mentioned. That's again the
And
priority
Ben Horton's
queue.
gift cards.
Yes.
I bet he learned that from Boat. He does that too on some of his shows.
So I have a list going of requests. So please send me your requests. And yeah, so we've done a good. Thank you very much for mentioning that, John. I appreciate your words. That was one of my goals. I want to mix it up and especially too because different people like different games, and so there might be a game that doesn't float your boat one week, but hopefully the one next week will. And so that was one of my goals was to really mix it up and appeal to some of the people some of the time.
You kind of have not a schedule per se, but you do kind of like try to rotate like a CoCo 3 game in every so many episodes, and an original game versus a clone, and that type of thing too, to keep it really varied.
And of course, if there are any new titles released, we try to showcase those as well. We've done that with a couple of Nick Marottes games, and
we did it with Timberman, if I'm not mistaken. And so community spotlight when applicable.
So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some of the highlights from the past year. I know for
do
me,
we need
one
to
of the
cue?
highlights-
Do we need to cue music?
Yeah, we need to play. We hope you have the time of your life. But I know for me, one of the most fun weeks was when we did Timberman. We had a couple of people build timber bots that actually automated the playing of Timberman. So if you weren't around since then, I really suggest you look up the CoCoTALK where we did Timberman and watch that, because we had like I said, we had a couple of different implementations of automated playing. I thought that went beyond what we thought.
It's interesting the inspiration.
What I call cheating, but go ahead.
It's really interesting to see how the inspiration has driven people in different directions to do things. That's what I love about doing stuff. It's like you throw something out there, you don't know how people are going to react to it and what you're going to get in return. And I think this thing has paid off in dividends, not only in just bringing the community together and having people sharing excitement throughout the week. And we have, who would have expected that not only somebody our age would play, but then they would get their kids to play, or they'd get the whole household to play.
Oh,
So
I love that.
It's really become bigger than we could have imagined. And it's really become kind of the epitome of community, having fun. And it's not competitive, although we do recognize scores, and those who are competitive can try to go for the best score. But it's really about just getting out your CoCo and playing a game and having fun with your CoCo throughout the week and sharing that experience with a group of other like-minded people,
One other highlight I want to point out too is that occasionally Ben Drakes comes in and actually hooks up his whole VR rig to it, and you get to see him playing it with real VR. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
And then we got the whole Nightmare Highway song and everything out of it, and so much.
Yeah, all of the songs. I mean, who could have
Samuel
imagined
Gimes.
that-
Yeah, that's
because-
another unexpected thing. And that's become something I look forward to as well.
Look forward to or dread, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah,
we love it. It's become a great part of the segment as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest for just a minute, not to get somber, but listen, we all have real lives and we have other things to do. So when we come to our hobby, it's supposed to be about fun. It should be a distraction, So I like the aspect of this, and sometimes I don't get a chance to play because I'm busy with real life and work throughout the week. So there's been many weeks I have not been able to play, but then I enjoy watching it on Discord, and then I enjoy hearing everything and still sharing in the experience with you guys every Saturday. So to kick it off with the Samuel Gimes song parody, and then hear how much fun that everybody had playing, and hear the stories and share tips and tricks, it's still rewarding even if you don't play. But I would encourage you, if you've been on the fence or if you haven't tried it yet, if you don't have a CoCo, get an emulator and play some CoCo games and join us,
Absolutely, yeah. An actual CoCo is not required. You can definitely use VCC or MAME or XROAR or whatever.
And all
Or
of us
Mr.
on Discord.
FPGAs.
FPGAs, yeah.
But Mark,
Those of us on Discord will help you get set up if you have questions. about
Yeah, you
something.
can ask a question in the emulator channel. How do I set up my emulator? So on and so forth. So.
For me, the Game On segment is what originally got me interested in the CoCoTALK and the CoCo in general, and from that it
thank you.
grew.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do have like four families now, because we had Michael Wieseler, who's Brian Wieseler's son, joined us this week, and of course we have David Quaker's son Joshua, and we have AC's wife Marcy and his son, and
Bruce Moore's son kicks in.
Bruce Moore's son, Jacob Moore.
Yeah, we had Jacob Moore. That's right. So yeah, we have 5 or 6 families.
Mr. Dave's
that
wife.
take part.
Mr. Dave's wife.
Mr. Dave's wife. Yeah. So it's really grown.
Now, Nick, as we enter into the second year of
Season 2.
Season 2. What sort of announcements? What can we expect? Are you going to continue sort of being the lone wolf of the choosing, or are you going to?
Really. I'm not really the lone wolf.
It depends on the size of your bribe boat.
Because, like I said, I do take official suggestions, or sometimes if I'm chatting in Discord and someone mentions a game, it'll jog my memory, and then I'll look at the game. So, I do consult with Curtis sometimes, or especially when there are new games coming out, I'll consult with the author who's writing the game. When the timelines, that sort of thing. So. I wouldn't say I'm the lone wolf. I do.
Would you ever consider opening up, not necessarily every week, but maybe once every 3 or 4 weeks, putting up a poll and saying, "Listen, here are 3 games that I think would be good. CoCoTALK Discord community. What do you think?"
That's an interesting idea. I could definitely.
Where it becomes the vote for the game that week.
Yeah.
A user's pick of the month or something like that.
I could see that being a great idea. Yeah. Thank you for the suggestion.
Right. And to point out the obvious, but we have tried to do the crossover with you guys ahead of time, so you guys can be playing the game. Or if there was a game you were going to do, we would make it that game too,
Yeah,
so we
absolutely.
could kind of have that synergy. So if you want some insider knowledge to be able to cross-pollinate that, I'm sure Nick Marotta would be happy to share that with
absolutely.
you on the down low, on the QT.
Oh, absolutely. You have to sign an NDA for sure.
That's right. After I sign the NDA, let me know what's on the docket. We'll
you get your people to contact his people, and then we'll do lunch. Okay, so.
And I'll be honest, I don't plan weeks ahead. I have a general guideline of a general road, and there's certain titles in my mind that I want to hit on. But it's actually gone in the direction I didn't even know either, too. So
I do have one question for you, Nick. Are we sticking with score-based arcade-style games, or do you ever have plans to expand that eventually? Like, can you solve a Mark Data Products adventure game in a week or something like that?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's something we could talk about.
That could be a vote.
Because there are definitely some good games out there that are not score-based. So
the adventures could be a monthly one. So do one a month, and then do game on challenges in between.
And it's just who finished it. Just send a screenshot of the final screen, and we could we should open it up.
Well, I will. That is a callback to when we did Forest of Doom live, and we were trying, because there was a contest for those not familiar, but D. Bruce Moore created Forest of Doom, which is kind of an RPG adventure style game, and there was a physical prize to the first people who could solve it, and then there was like a kind of a challenge where the book, when you bought the game, you actually had to buy a book, which was the strategy guide and stuff, and then you got the code to download the digital game. Some people got their books right away. Some people didn't get their books for many weeks. So the first winner was Paul Fiscarelli, but then he had a second round for once all the books were out. We had another round, and we did a live stream where we're all trying to beat this game, and it ended up being Jason Reichert who got the mug of douchery for winning that. And,
I have it right here.
No hate. So.
I can just tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but that was fun. Like, we were for like 4 hours, and this is the funny part. This dude, we're grown men here. The youngest of us is probably 30 something. We're like in our 40s and 50s, and we're sitting here having serious discussions about a 40-year-old freaking video game. I mean, that's both sad and awesome at the same time when you think about it. That we're this invested in this freaking video game crap. So.
Don't say that. Don't say that, Stevie, because that's I've built my entire podcast empire on that.
Oh, I know, but it's like
It's all under the bus.
Yeah, no. It's like I say, it's when somebody from the outside could say, "Gosh, that's really sad. These are 40, 50-year-old people talking about this whole game," but we're looking at this like, this is awesome, man. This is really, it literally is what makes my week,
Well, it's your initial videos back 5 years ago on YouTube that got me in touch with CoCo community.
We really need a piano playing in the background right now. We really need some, some torch
Stevie,
song type stuff.
it's all your fault. It continues to be all your fault, and I just
guilty.
Yeah,
Guilty
all your
as
fault,
charged.
Stevie.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hey, Jason, what you got there?
Oh, what do you think I got? Oh, just a little something I picked up over the years,
Oh,
I think it's called second place, is what I think it's called.
So yeah, thank you. This has been I really enjoy doing this segment and all the feedback I get and all the encouragement, and it's one of the highlights of my week. It's one of the things I do that I really enjoy.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes I give myself, I'm going to be my own worst critic. I give myself guilt trips all the time. I'm thinking, you know what, I should be working more on writing programs. I should be working on learning assembly. I should be doing this. And I always beat myself up because I don't do the things that I want to do and mention doing, and life gets in the way and I get lazy. So I always think about what I haven't done. And I don't do a lot of CoCo projects all the time, but one CoCo project I do every week is this show, and it is a fair bit of work to do this, even though it takes it takes a village to raise this idiot as we're doing here. But if I have not written a program or read an assembly book or played a game, I am still involved with the CoCo every week, because we are literally every day talking about the show and planning the show and just talking and hanging out and thinking about what we're going to do. So
how many hours of content did you make?
Oh, I don't even know.
Stevie, people don't realize how much work goes into the back end of doing a show like this that you do week in and week out. Aaron runs an international computer club once every 3 months, and the amount of stress and tiredness that he feels just from that one show, and you do this every single week. So, I really admire your tenacity to be able to do this week in, week out. It's a great show, and I love it.
No, thanks. And like I say, it's a group effort. It's the teamwork makes the dream work. So, it is what it is because of all the people who are so like-minded, that are passionate, and everything else that help continue to kind of raise the standards of what we do and how we do it, and everything we do. Like we say, it's a cliche thing, but we'll say, hey, send us a suggestion, send us some feedback, and guess what we do? We bring it into the show. Mr. Dave suggested this segment, and we've been talking about this for an hour now, and we've been doing it for a year. So that one suggestion has been the runaway hit of the show.
And look at the cross-pollination we got.
Yeah,
we got Amigos Retro Gaming. We got some users from there in our community now. We have Canadian retro things.
Mm-hmm.
It really grows the community. We're not an island.
And I'm going to plug the outro. So you talk about the stress. I spent many hours this morning just updating the Who's New to Discord. And even though it's only 6 minutes, it probably took me an hour of recording and re-recording to get it done in one take, which is because that's how I am. I find it easier to get it all done than try to clip out sound clips from a WAV file that's like 9 miles wide, So it's just, if I make one screw up, I got to re-record. And so anyways. I spent so many hours working on 2 things for the show that I was literally needed to take a nap before the show because I was already exhausted. But one of the things I did is I updated the outro. And I'm making sure I'm giving credit to more people, and I've kind of made it a little bit longer. And there's a really nice slideshow that's been kind of a snapshot of like a lot of the CoCo Fests and VCFs. And so the outro of this show, which has been updated and enhanced for today, make sure you pay attention to that. I know that's Retro Innovation's favorite part of the show is when it's over. But it is a postcard and a love letter to the community and to everybody else, that outro, because it's got the slideshow of all of us smiling, happy, shiny people holding hands, and then thanking everybody who's part of this show every week. So I appreciate you saying it is hard work. I agree, but it's not carried by any one person. It's carried by a lot of us, and that's the I think that's the recipe right there. That's the secret sauce, What's that now?
Go ahead, Nick.
So I really want to thank the players. I mean, the segment wouldn't be a success if we had nobody playing. So I really want to thank. There are people who are here virtually every week, And I know I have friends who, they play the games to support the segment, and I appreciate that. And then, the ones who play the games that they like, I appreciate that too. You don't have to play every week if there's a game you don't like, but I appreciate that you do play when the game strikes your fancy. So thank you so much to everybody who takes part. We couldn't do this without you.
Far out.
Ken can make it one to remind us we're going to hurt our arms if we keep patting.
Oh yeah.
Back, so.
Oh my God, man. Doctor, it hurts when I do this.
Well, then don't do that.
So what do you like about me? No,
Yeah.
I thought the secret sauce was like Thousand Island dressing.
Yes, that could be what it is. So, mayonnaise and ketchup. Who knows?
So are we ready? Are we ready to talk about the first game of year 2?
So we're going to kick off season 2. Drum roll, please. Nick Marotta, the suspense is killing us all. What game will we be playing next week?
Okay, so this is not the game next week, but the game next week is related to this game.
Dun, dun,
the game next week is...
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, Sockmasters Donkey Kong.
Donkey
this is
Kong
the
Transcode.
Okay, so
I
this
thought
is
it'd be kind of fun to show how far the CoCo has come from CoCo 2 to the CoCo 3.
Okay.
So this is the official Donkey Kong Transcode, not the remix.
Not the remix, right? The actual.
This is just the standard Donkey Kong.
Standard Donkey Kong. Right. So we all know Donkey Kong
requires a 512K CoCo 3 or emulator.
So we're going to play the default options, except, of course, you can change the palette type and the sound. But we're going to play number 3 live, 7,000 bonus.
Difficulty easy.
And US level order.
Okay, so as this screenshot here. 3 lives, 7,000.
So unless you got to change the palette or the sound, just load it up and go. Don't change anything other than palette type or sound.
This will be interesting.
This is kind of funny. Earlier today during my stream... I actually mentioned this when I was chatting with Curtis. This specific version came up.
Oh, how funny!
Quite coincidental.
Yeah, because you were playing Nintendo games today with Donkey Kong.
Speaking of streams and our ages and the fact that we're still passionate about video games, I stream a lot of games, and some of the games I stream are newer games. And my favorite thing to do when I used to stream Minecraft was to have some 10-year-old dingleberry come in here saying, "Aren't you a little old in playing Minecraft, man?" It's like all these people everybody just assumes there's a certain age limit for certain games. But when it comes to playing a 40-year-old game, if you look old, nobody's going to question you on that. You're more legit at this point. You're old school. You're not some young whippersnapper, doing this as a fad. You're OG. So
it's funny you mention that, Stevie, because when my students find out that I have a YouTube channel, they become extremely excited. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, Mr. Shawler, how many subscribers do you have?"
I know.
And then I tell them, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're bigger than my favorite YouTuber."
Wow.
And then I was like, "Okay, well go and watch some of our videos." And they come back the next day and they're like, "I made it through about 10 seconds, Mr. Shawler.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sorry, I couldn't do it."
That's
so
something
that
else.
wraps up the Game On segment. So thank you, everybody, for a wonderful year of gaming and the year ahead of us. And thank you, Stevie, for
So it's almost kind of like poetry. Our first year, we started off with Donkey King, which was a clone of Donkey Kong. So year 2, we're starting off on Donkey Kong. So that is, art imitating art at this point here. So
that's kind of what I was going for. I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah,
I think it's on like Donkey Kong.
It is on like Donkey Kong. Abso-frickin-lutely. We are into, what time is it now? It is. We're in 2 hours into the show, and we are just getting warmed up here, boys and girls. We do have Snoozy Newsy, one of Michael Furman's favorite parts of the show. I will, Curtis, how much news do you have, by the way?
It's a fair bit. Not like the busiest ever. I've got 12 for the game, or 11 for the Game On news, and then I've got 1 Dragon, 3 MC10, and 13 CoCo bits.
That's a lot of numbers I cannot add in my head and not add that quickly. I would have to have a blast with the new math tutor to follow that one. But
I think it was like 3,000.
Okay, so we're going to take a break, but we're 2 hours into the show. And listen, there is no wrong amount of time that CoCoTALK should last. But I'm going to throw that out there since we are 2 hours in. We've probably got at least another hour to get through the news. I was going to propose something, and you guys can talk about it now, and maybe we can revisit this later. But when I was downloading all of my YouTube videos and going through and archiving things, somebody had asked a question. Somebody said, what was your first CoCo video? And I had to think about that, and I had to look for it, and I found it. It was from July of 2015. Now, just this as a recap, when I started YouTube, the original reason why I started YouTube is because when my kids were 5 years ago, my kids were, you know, like 5, 6 years old, and a little one and stuff. They were big into Minecraft. They used to like to watch like Stampy on Minecraft and Dan TDM and all these famous Minecraft YouTubers. So we're like, yeah, Dad, let's play Minecraft. Let's do a YouTube channel. So I started a YouTube channel with my kids to do Minecraft, and that's kind of how I got started. But in the back of my mind, I knew I was going to do old school stuff. So I called my channel Original Gamer Stevie Strow because I knew I would be doing OG stuff at some point in time. So we started off doing Minecraft, and we did that and enjoyed some fun and some successes and stuff. You know, made friends around the world doing Minecraft videos. But then I said, you know what, I want to start, and then I started doing like emulators. I would play arcade games on MAME. So I did Space Invaders and Zaxxon. I did stuff like that. And then I'm like, all right, I want to do some CoCo videos, but nobody's going to know what a CoCo is. So I have to kind of set the stage. I got to kind of Steve-splain to the world what a color computer was, because it was this obscure machine that I'm sure nobody ever remembers or remembers hearing about. So I created a video, kind of my Steve's version of history of what it was like when the color computer came out, thinking I needed to kind of, you know, pave the road for doing my CoCo gameplay videos, which now have been well over 200 of those things I've done, not including the live stream. So I did that video. I look back on that video now and I realized, number one, I didn't know about the community. I didn't know about the Underdog book. I didn't know if there was a podcast. I didn't know about groups. I didn't know anything. So this was based on my memory and a little bit of research. And it was just kind of talking about the glory days of the old computers, my memories of the color computer, and then showing an example of what a color computer gameplay video might look like. And the whole thing was about 25 minutes long. And so if we don't do it today, I'd like to do it in the near future where we can watch it, do some real-time reactions to it, and then maybe have a discussion afterwards of, well, how close was I to the mark in remembering things and providing historical accuracy, and then what has changed, what's happened in the past 5 years since I've done that video. So that's something I'd like to do. If today is not the day, because that could be another hour on top of itself. If today's not the day, we don't do it, but I'm throwing that out there we can talk about that later if we want to do that today or not. So there we have that. We're going to take a break.
Critique Stevie.
What's that, Mark?
Let's critique Stevie.
Yeah, you can do that too. I'm used to that.
Don't we always do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So anyways, we're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to come back with Game On News and Snoozy Newsy, right, Curtis? And so the commercial break that I'm going to play right now is the one that just tells you guys all about the community resources, like the Discord channel. Join Discord, like the I'm a Coconut website, which has got links to all your kind of stuff, and how you guys, if you want to jump on CoCoTALK, you can jump on CoCoTALK. So this is what we call our PSA commercial break. So we'll be back in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes with more CoCoTALK after these words.
Hi, this is Eddie Zerbinski from beautiful Quebec City. Vous écoutez CoCoTALK.
As you're enjoying CoCoTALK, we also want to remind you about the CoCo Discord server. This is a place where people come to connect, to ask questions, to provide answers, to share information, and to socialize. So when you're done, why don't you head on over to the CoCo Discord server and we'll continue the conversation there. The easy to remember link is discord.cocotalk.live. See you on Discord. CoCo123 is the Glenside Color Computer Club community newsletter that's been in publication since 1985. While the Rainbow magazine may be gone, it doesn't mean you still can't have a cool CoCo periodical. Head on over to the Glenside Color Computer website at glensideccc.com and then click on the Documents link to view all the past issues of the CoCo123 newsletter. Not only can you read all of the past and present issues, we'd also love to hear some submissions from you. So if you'd like to send an article, a column, something to talk about, maybe even a program listing, send an email to glensideccc@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. The CoCo World Map is a cool community resource where you can view coconuts from around the world. Head on over to map.cocotalk.live and see where your fellow coconutians happen to be living on the planet Earth. If you would like to submit yourself to be on the CoCo Map, send an email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live, and we look forward to seeing you on the CoCo Map. Hey guys, it's Stevie Strow, and if you've been watching CoCoTALK for a while, hopefully you understand that everyone is welcome to join this show. You don't need an impressive resume to get on. You just need to enjoy the CoCo and be willing to talk about it. There is no wrong way to CoCo. There is no wrong way to be a fan of the CoCo. There's no wrong way to be on CoCoTALK. You just have to want to talk CoCo. So if you would like to join us, then reach out to us on our Discord server, which is discord.cocotalk.live, or send an email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live, and let's get you on the show and let's talk about the CoCo.
Hi, I'm Tim, and you're watching CoCoTALK Live. And I'm playing Daggereth online like that idiot from the book.
Can you dial back on the condescension there as you respond there? All right, everybody, get ready for Game On News with our foreign correspondent from Espana. It's L. Curtis Boyle. Take it away, Curtis.
Vicky.
Uh-oh. What are we looking at here? I see WAV files.
Yes. So Jim Gerrie, as we mentioned in the last couple of weeks, Sarah has been fiddling with the MC10 compiler that Greg Dion did. And this is the current list of all the games he's got working with the compiler.
Oh my God. He's an animal. He's a machine.
So yeah, I mean, the compiler is basically doubling to tripling the speed of most of his basic programs, and they become assembly language programs basically. And he's posted this. So this is going to be a running page.
Okay.
So if you get the link out of here, as he updates them, you'll get more and more added on as he goes through them. He's also rewriting some. There's a bit of an optimization the way the compiler works for scanning the keyboard. So he's actually changing some of the games to use that new technique as well too. So, but yeah, he's a machine, and he's put up a couple of videos of a few too as well that have been compiled now. So the first one here I'll show a little bit of is Pinball.
Oh, look, it's a smiley face. Oh, look at that, the paddles. And actually, this isn't much worse than the one we had to pay for on cartridge.
I will give that one a little bit of credit though, because that was one of the very first 6 cartridges ever made.
Yep. Yeah, the speed is good. Speed is very good. It's not blinky.
Yeah, even the paddles animate pretty good.
Yeah, good job.
And the next
Jim.
one he did is his Q-Bird, which was quite slow if you remember seeing it, because we showed it not too long ago, and it was pretty slow. But this is actually a playable version.
Okay.
Given the low res.
Way to sell it there, Curtis.
Yeah, I tried.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. The speed is good. It's amazing what you can still capture the essence of that game in this resolution. You know, that's utterly impressive. And this is a good resolution because it's got a lot of color on it too. So.
Yeah. And like the arcade game, he keeps changing the colors as you go from screen to screen.
Yeah.
What they change to.
Damn, Jim Gerrie, this guy is a machine.
But before you'd have that long.
Oh, and that's got there's your little platforms that bring you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, great speed, and there's nothing is flashing on the screen. There's no blinkies.
Yeah, I don't know if the compiler supports double buffering or if that's just because it's running faster, so it doesn't have time to.
Yeah, it's not lingering. It's just
Someday we'll have to get Jim on to actually explain what he's found out about this compiler.
He's gonna have to Steve explain it to me. Look how quickly he cleared that whole screen too. Man, the speed on this thing is incredible. All right, next game.
Yeah. Well, that's the only ones that he got new videos out for. Like I said, there's a whole list to download there. So if you guys have MC10s or MC10 emulators,
and if you have the MC 130, the 32 XP CD SDC, whatever the hell it's called, if you have that thing, with the SD card, slap them on there and load them up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really interested. Like as it currently stands, I don't believe he's supporting all the new high-res stuff like on the SDX and the SD one, but he's planning, like Greg D on the compiler maker, is planning on adding support for that. So pretty soon you can be able to do compiled higher res games, which would be pretty awesome too.
And this will also load over MC. So if you don't have the hardware solution, you can do the software over the wire cable.
The drive-wire style server.
MC as well. Very cool.
And Mr. Alan Murphy, how's your time right now?
Oh, it's all good, I guess.
Do you want to do the Cole's Notes version of your new blog post?
Yeah, sure. So in 2020, I spent a bit learning 6809 assembly and how to access all kinds of different hardware, sound cards, graphics modes on CoCos. And right around the end of the year, began the transition from building a platform into building the actual game port. So to start that off, I went through and grabbed all of my notes that I had built over the last 14 months or so and scanned them into the computer, and now have all that available in my notebook online and basically everywhere with me. And Curtis has highlighted up. It was about 220 pages of handwritten and graph paper sketches and little semi-graphics decodings and things like that of stuff that was going on in the NEC, pieces of its fonts and stuff like that. So I got that all into Joplin and Dropbox and got on with writing some actual code. The first 10 lines of the game were copyright rims that I went ahead and converted into a copyright screen for the game. And the screenshot that's up is what it looks like with the NEC font on the CoCo 3. And the same screen then now also works on CoCo VGA.
Nice.
And so it's got the fonts and the full colors and everything to look just like the original NEC game. So then I got into the actual game, starting at the beginning, just like the interpreter would do. And the first line of it is a call off to an assembly language routine. So there's a bit of explanation about how the game was laid out on the cassette file and how it loaded in the original machine as both basic and then blocks of assembly code. And the first part sets up the assembly memory map. And so I had to go and take all that apart and things like that. And then it sets up the console and jumps off to a block of code in line 5000. And line 5000, the next section is essentially the game dispatch, where it goes through and says, this is what's coming, this is the next screen to show, and let's jump to that. So yeah, there's lots of little code chunks and things like that on the blog piece. So you can go in and look at what the actual original NEC code looked like, and then you can start to see what I'm translating it into in the first pass as assembly. But this block of code also called an assembly routine to find the next level in a table using Z80 code. So, and then jump to a basic game line based on which level it picked in the assembly code. So it jumps back and forth. And this game also uses a lot of self-modifying code for various pieces. Like it'll turn on and off functions in Z80. So it's kind of weird, but that's what makes the project fun. So I've then just started showing some of the code that I was converting and how I'm converting it. And I've gotten some interesting comments back from folks that are looking at how these little pieces work and seeing if they can adapt them to what they're doing. So on the screen here, you can see I'm basically numbering my functions according to the original basic line numbers. And then I'm also numbering according to the Z80 assembly address. And then I've got the actual Z80 decode there and a 6809 transcode from that. And then I've got the actual chunks of code that I'm writing in between that kind of implement whatever the transcode was looking at. Because the transcode doesn't do, Glenn did an awesome job with his transcode code, but the Z80 has a bunch of different and weird registers that you then have to go and come up with some 6809 way to work with. And so the transcode is kind of an intermediate step before I actually start looking at how I want to code it myself. And then I did my own quick screen grabber, pick a level and move and figure out which basic line I'm going to end up jumping to. But so the framework of the game is in place, and the next step will be implementing the main game level, which is basic line 100, which starts a timer clock, which I've already got some code for, and actually draws the screen and goes. So the structure's in place, the setup is done, and now it's getting to the main game port itself. Finally.
Neat.
Cool.
So did you already know sort of and were familiar with the NEC hardware itself to be able to know when it was saying color this, screen that, what it was doing, or you had to go like learn all of that stuff in order to reverse engineer this game?
In the United States, it was released as a machine called the NEC Trek, and a guy that goes by Animal Tamer has done a really nice emulator for it. And there's a couple of Japanese emulators for the original PC 6000 series and PC 8000 series. And so what I started with was Jim Gerrie's port to the MC10, because he found this game years ago and ported it twice to the MC10. First as just looking at a GIF of how it played. He kind of made a work-alike. And then he found the original code in BASIC and converted that into a much closer work-alike for the MC10. So I kind of started with that as the inspiration, was Jim's MC10 port. Okay, it's a basic game somewhere. So I found that on the Internet Archive and started. But then as I was going along, I realized that all these exec calls were not calling NEC functions. They were calling something else. So I started digging around and I did a dump of the tape and found this chunk of assembly sitting at the end that would be loading in after the actual basic code. But NEC uses N60 basic, which is very close to the CoCo's extended basic. So it's a Microsoft basic variant. It is probably derived from CoCo's extended basic, but they have made some changes for things like the color statement that's shown on the screen. The colors work differently because the VDG in that machine is wired differently, and the play statement works differently. The N60 basic play statement will play 3 voices of music at once through the sound chip that's the same as what's in the sound speech pack. So it's a General Instruments sound chip that was used in video games and a lot of home computers. So it's very similar basic. And with that, I was able to take the line numbers apart, and I knew like how to find the loading address from the tape file and things like that. So being familiar with the CoCo enough made it easier to tear apart how the NEC was doing it. The biggest changes were all in the graphics side with a kanji ROM font and a different set of color maps and things like that. So, but yeah, I'm learning all that as I go, and I just fire up the emulator and do a test like I did with the color statement to go, here's what color 1 looks like, here's what color 2 looks like on this particular machine, and then I adapted that to the palette statements that were needed for the palette register changes needed on the CoCo 3.
Cool.
I'm just curious, did you say United States?
United States,
Okay.
yes.
Is that the Texan way to refer to the United States?
Well, yeah, I remember the United States, so I do try to pay it homage when I can. Kind of the disjointed states at the moment.
You're talking about the United States of America, right?
Are you making fun of my accent?
Not at all, sir. Not at all, sir.
Wearing that hat.
Hey, are you hat shaming me right now, Alan?
Are you accent shaming me?
Absolutely.
All right, so there we go. That's your answer.
A yellow hat.
So yeah, that's it. And if you have questions about it, I'm on the Discord. There's also a contact on my website, and I'm on Facebook, sort of occasionally, and places like MeWe. So you can ask questions. In the blog posts, I have linked to a lot of the little sample bits of code for things like sound cards and other stuff that I've been working with along the way. So all that stuff's available to learn from as well. And apparently some folks are using it like that, so that's the encouragement to keep on going.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
This name is same name as the ship on Alien, isn't it?
That's not a coincidence. So the Japanese programmer Akira Takaguchi was a big fan of the movie Alien. This game was originally programmed on the Commodore PET in Japan in like 1980-81 timeframe. And it was based on an earlier game called Shoplift Girl, where the idea was you would like run through a store and steal items and escape a security guard chasing you. But Shoplift Girl, the security guard was always visible, so it was easy to strategize how to avoid him. And when the movie Alien came out, the programmer for this game had the idea to take Shoplift Girl and make the security guard more invisible. And so in the game Nostromo, which is named after the ship in the movie Alien, after level 7, the alien stops being visible unless it's in the hallway with you, which is kind of why people have started referring to this over the last few years as really the first survival horror video game, in that, you know, it does attempt to ambush you after a while. And it gives you a nice little cut screen of an angry alien bouncing around and looking mad before it switches the game mode into having the alien be invisible. So,
Cool.
and I'm planning all of that in, and that's part of why I've been going line by line through the basic and the assembly to convert it, is I want to get those little features in.
I had a phone call and I wasn't sure you covered it because I didn't hear the first part of your presentation. So I reluctantly asked you that.
That's fine.
No, it's good. But yes,
Good.
it is based on the movie Alien. The name of the game itself is AX2 Uchu Yususen Nostromo, which means Space Transport Ship Nostromo. And the only thing they didn't do is actually license the Alien from Fox. So instead, they got a really great box cover artist to come up with a different looking alien. And then the alien that's drawn in semi-graphics in the game is kind of based on the box art and kind of a nod to the little tiny hand-shaped alien called the Facehugger that chases the guys around.
Yes. So it's kind of a sort of Hunt the Wumpus-y too, where you don't know where the Wumpus is in the maze, right? There's a little element of that to it.
Just quite a bit. So the core piece of the game is that you go break into these little storerooms, grab resources, and take them back to your shuttle to escape, which is much like the third act of the movie Alien, where Ripley is trying to, stock up the shuttle with, whatever MacGuffinite she needs, and then fly away from the alien and blow the ship up. So that's kind of the core gameplay. And in the early levels, you do see the alien always starts in the upper left corner, and he begins then hunting you around wherever you're going. And you have to get a certain number of each type of resource out of the different warehouses across the screen. So it does have a kind of a fair chance to get at you.
Okay. Very cool. And hello to Keith Clark, who joined us recently and said hello, everyone. Hey, Keith. Neat project. Look forward to seeing more on that.
I look forward to being able to actually play it.
All right. What's next,
Okay,
Mr.
next
Boyle?
up. Well, next up I was going to ask, is Boat back yet, or is he still gone?
I think he's still gone.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to draw into Frodo here, because he's probably more familiar with Pixel Gaiden than I am. Now, Pixel Gaiden is a group that is affiliated with the Amigos and kind of is on their streams as well now, and that's a pretty recent change. I think they were independent before that. Now they're kind of like we are, kind of cross-linked between. And they normally, what do they don't normally do, Frodo? I'm not overly familiar with the show. I just caught this particular stream.
To be honest, I haven't watched that much of it either, but they do various systems from what I understand, and usually long shows. Not unlike CoCoTALK. They do podcast kind of thingy with a number of them. But I know that Tim has been doing some streams lately, and that's probably what you're referring to right now.
Yeah, and Tim's from the UK, correct?
Yeah, Tim is UK guy, I think, yeah.
Okay. Because one thing, I guess Aaron's saying it's retro games and modern retro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at any rate,
and beer.
And beer.
And beer.
We like that.
Well, he's from the UK. That's just a given, isn't it? So he's actually decided they're going to be doing some systems that are new to them as far as doing it. And I think the two they mentioned recently are going to be the Atari ST and the CoCo, or CoCo/Dragon. So they're trying to pick, I think, 6 games they want to pick. 6 of it's like kind of the quote unquote best games. And he's been kind of doing a bit of a stream here. We did about an hour, experimenting with different games. on the CoCo without really knowing too much about it. And I unfortunately wasn't able to catch it live to help out, but I have actually been talking to them on their Discord, giving suggestions and stuff like that too. So if any of you guys have a list of what do you think are the premier CoCo games for them to give a shot at playing there? CoCo 1, 2, probably more in specific at this point, but you can mention CoCo 3 games as well.
No, ask Nick Marotta to pull up that list. We can look at the past 52 that we've played and just pick some from there, even if you don't have any off the top of your head. Cashman comes to mind, Time Bandit, Donkey King.
I know a few suggestions already from Boat and me were like Double Back and
Donkey King, Zaxxon. There's so many. Yeah, Double Back is a great one because that's pretty unique.
Yeah.
Outhouse, indeed, what Aaron just suggests.
Okay.
It's fun. Yeah.
Dino Wars, we're getting from Canadian Retro things.
I did suggest Dino Wars to one of them before. I said a lot of adults aren't a big fan of this game, but you put this in front of any 5-year-old and they all love it. I've not met one yet that doesn't.
Well, I gotta
Are
say,
they looking for titles that are unique to the CoCo
just one.
Either or.
If you're new to the
something
CoCo,
to showcase the CoCo.
if you had to give a top 10 must-play CoCo games for anybody who's never played on that system before, what would that be?
Daggerath.
Daggerath.
Yep, that's been a suggestion as well.
Phantom Slayer and Buzzard Bait is what Explore VR is saying.
Well, not Buzzard Bait. You want Lancer, of course, or Pegasus, but
Sailor Man.
Sailor Man.
Zaxxon for sure.
Sea Dragon.
Color Baseball was really good.
Yeah.
The baseball games that were out at the time were pretty bad, and the CoCo one was good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Shout,
Time Bandit. I
like Cashman. That was a good suggestion, Stevie.
Yeah. There's so many. It's so hard to choose, but yeah. And this is what's great is that, you really want to see more and more people discovering the CoCo and then maybe getting the bug, right? And then getting the fever and then want to play more CoCo games and then feature those CoCo games on their channel. Like the Amigos, they brought a whole nother world to us, right? They had a following of retro systems that were nothing like the CoCo, like, the Amiga and the Spectrum and the Atari 8-bit. That's a different world, and so they had their own following, and then our worlds have collided, and so we have people who never heard of the CoCo that are now watching CoCoTALK. And so I'm not saying that for selfish reasons because I want them to watch our show, but if you love the CoCo, you want more people, you want to spread the word, right? You want more people to love that CoCo.
This $49
and if they join the
booster
community,
is taking the world by storm.
hopefully we can help them out and teach them things and make recommendations. So I want to see more of this. I want to see more people discovering the machine.
And Magica and so this one.
This is just like a sample video there, just so you can kind of see what they do.
I remember that game. I had that game on the IBM PC.
Yeah, everything ran off of tape on the MSX. I don't even remember seeing a disc drive for it or any disc game. So really, it was.
So anyway, they just do this, and I haven't watched too many Pixel Gaiden shows because there's so many good podcasts now, especially the Amigos have got a ton of affiliate channels now. I've been watching Frodo, do all of his live streams.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, he did one where he went through, I don't know, probably about 10 games. He did stuff like Mr. Dig, I should say, and a variety of other ones here too that he just kind of went through as a very first cursor. The very first one he did was a Spectrum port called 3D Death Chase.
Oh yeah, I did that on a video too, not having any idea what that game was, but I have a video of that game. I came across it somewhere. Yeah. It kind of reminded me of the Return of the Jedi thing where you're flying through the trees but you're like on motorbikes or something. So, it kind of reminded me of that whole Ewok thing. All right, let's watch commercials on Curtis's YouTube channel.
I love YouTube. Awesome.
Yeah. I love seeing Curtis's pop-ups on Facebook almost as much as I like watching commercials.
Yeah, well, those sometimes you guys contribute to. So
well, you can turn off notifications in your browser. Okay, so what do we got here? Pixel.
Okay, so on episode 51 of the podcast.
Here's doing kind of a review. I'll just
okay, I saw a CoCo green screen. Here we go.
Now that is a quite a unique little platform style, not platform, Pac-Man style game. So it's a maze muncher. And I really enjoy this game, and I don't know if you can see at the top, just above the screen there's a couple of little characters.
Yeah, mentioning Megabug.
Cheekily stolen the characters from the game.
Forward to some actual gameplay here.
Okay, there it is. Death Chase. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bit difficult for me to see because my monitor in front of me. So that's kind of like a.
Now he's running the CoCo 3
screen
emulator
there.
here, and of course he
It's
hasn't
not
set
in.
the
It's
RGB
not in.
palettes, but
Yeah.
I did mention that on
The
their channel
sound
afterwards.
from
but
the game now.
He's brand new to this, so that's
Yeah.
that's okay. It's a learning experience.
Funny to show original Spectrum game as CoCo game here.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is.
Yeah, but see, you're kind of driving through trees. So this reminded me of the speeder bikes on Empire Strikes Back. You know.
Yeah, or Return of the Jedi.
That's what I mean. Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
So you've got to ride the bike. You've got to get them within range because you can shoot using the fire button. And we've got to try and take out these 2 bikes on each level. And as you can imagine, on
So that was one of the ones he picked, and then later on you do the Arctic Patrol, as it's called, which basically means switching the color set.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's the exact same.
Yeah. Yeah. But this time it's on ice.
Yeah,
Funny,
Totally
funny
different game
difference
now.
with the Spectrum version. By
Mud
the way.
pies.
Spectrum,
Okay,
you
this
just
is
get
good.
dark.
as you can see, the graphics is pretty basic on this, so they're not going to be scary clowns running at you.
And of course,
just sort of
they're
like
used to the
cartoon
Dragon ones, the Dragon
graphics.
versions, where of course you don't have the artifact in color, so
right.
they're playing on the alternate color sets from what we're used to.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't this one play the Scott Joplin Entertainer? Was that its title
Yeah,
screen music?
it does a little bit for voice
For
music.
voice music, yeah.
And then you figured out how to switch it to the artifact colors.
Yeah. Good
Pick
kind
the
of food
pie,
fight
and
type
The
game.
good thing with this.
Now he had weird
Time
colors
Bandit.
here on Time Bandit,
In
so
the UK
that's
by
not the normal
Microdeal.
color set at all.
Now they did an.
I'm thinking that's
awful
a
lot
RGB composite thing again.
of, Dragon 32 games over here.
And then of
And
course
Megabug.
We
gotcha.
decided to give this a try when I got the CoCo emulator running, and yeah, I can see what they.
So that's the first ones he picked to kind of just
Okay,
go through. At the
not a
beginning.
bad foray into CoCo gaming right there.
Yeah, but he is asking for suggestions on the Amigos Discord. So for those of you that are on there, please make suggestions. And if you're not, you can pass them through me, and I can pass them on along as well. So
Okay, and you'll tell 2 friends, and so on. Very cool. Welcome to the CoCo community, and welcome to CoCo Gaming, and we wish you many years of enjoyment.
yeah, he's doing a live stream with whatever games they pick for the CoCo fairly shortly. I think I can't remember if it's this weekend or next weekend that they were going to try to do it. So, you know, Frodo, when they were scheduling that?
No, but I can quickly look it up.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so next up here is from Sheldon MacDonald, who's he's been working on multiple things. He was doing his bunch of utilities for working with disk images and stuff. He's been doing a game that he's been working on. He's been working on musical macro language for playing multi-voice music on some of the sound cards that we demoed a little bit, which is what this part's on here. So he's done a couple of updated videos showing his musical macro language that supports 2 voices in sync on the Game Master cartridge hardware. So I'll play a little bit of this first video, which is kind of his first preview. You're hearing the video there, and now he's showing what the musical language looks like. It's kind of like the play statement with a few mods.
Sounds good. And it's playing in the background. The cursor's still blinking.
Yep.
And that is impressive.
Yeah, it shows you what the power of the GMC chip can do. So anyway, that's what he's done, and he's done a slight modification to it afterwards, where he did some updates to the musical language itself, the scripting language that you can kind of see blurred on the screen there. Now, unfortunately, it's not quite as compatible to play Command with BASIC anymore because they had to add some new features and change a few things. So it's not quite as easy to translate, but it speeds up the player a bit, so it can process more complicated scores. And he's added an H1, H2 to allow percussion to be added instead of just the musical notes. So that's what this little demo is going to do here.
Hello, Sheldon MacDonald here. Just a little update on my pad. So, and it's saying L32 or L1.
Like you can see there, that looks somewhat like the play command with
like the length. Yeah.
Adjusts it. And then so that's the main difference is I changed my pauses and my lengths from 0 to 8. 8 being the longest tone or longest
and
pause.
some of the source code up above that too,
0 being the shortest length or the shortest pause.
password here.
String it through real quick. A Jurassic Park song here.
Oh.
So I'm gonna run this and
play some Skinner, man.
it should have the two channels going
Play a polka.
and the percussion at the same time.
Yeah, it's like from the Sega Genesis or something. Yeah.
So multi-voice with percussion, which is pretty cool.
It does a good snare sound.
Yep.
You know what it is.
To do that popcorn song.
Yeah, that's damn good, man. Good job, Sheldon.
Okay. Next up after this was a pretty cool project that I had not heard
Oh,
of.
the LED screen the guy built, right? Somebody
Yeah,
posted
Mark
this.
Schoenberger put this up, and apparently it was up, last year in the summer. I totally missed it the first time around. So this guy named Christopher Cantrell hooked up a Raspberry Pi to a multi-panel, basically 6 of them interconnected of these is it LED? I believe. To make this huge 3-foot square display.
Shades of Rick Adams, because that's what Rick's been doing
Exactly.
at CoCo Fest, yeah.
But he made a custom version of Megabug/Dung Beetle. So he's taken pieces of the original Apple version, plus a fair bit, including the music from the CoCo version of Megabug, and he's made this huge 128 by 96 display using these 9 interlocked panels, or 6 interlocked panels. And then demonstrates some enhancements he made to the version 2, which is written in Python. So it's emulating the CoCo and the Apple 2, kind of.
Yeah. So this is
so here you can see the panels.
panel, yeah.
And plugging them all together there to make this huge display.
That's
And then
crazy.
he puts a bit of a matte finish so it doesn't glare out too much. And then he fires up his own custom version here, which he called PUBugs, combining Dung Beetles with Megabug.
Mhm.
And he's given credit to both the original Apple II author Bob Bishop as well as Steve Bjork for the CoCo version of it here.
Okay.
Couple of versions of this game. There was Dung Beetles for the Apple II by Bob Bishop, and Megabug, and that's the one that I played, by Steve Bjork, and he wrote a lot of things for the
fast forward a little bit.
Here's the music. Yeah.
And this is a demo screen.
Play
Mouth
PUBugs.
moving at random and no collision detection, so it can run into.
But you can actually see the little spaces between the
you're
pixels
eating
on
the
here because of
Yeah.
the
dots,
Mhm.
and you're leaving a trail.
Kind of looks like
behind,
zooming in on an old TV
and
screen,
the bugs
you know?
pick up on that trail and try to follow you.
So that explains
and
how the game
so you
itself
try to
works.
eat- So that's your
That is a
incentive
neat
for
project.
moving
Not only is he building a custom display, but he's building a custom game to run on it, or porting a game. Or recreating the game, I should say. That is neat.
outside the magnifier. The walls are invisible, but you can see the walls inside the
So
magnifier.
he's added some extra options too, like this invisible where you can't see the maze. You can turn it
It's
to
black and white.
Oh, look
outside
at
the
that.
magnifier.
Oh,
everything
so
is
it's just
black and
color in
white.
there.
Inside the
Man, that is
magnifier, you
neat.
can
A lot
see.
of value-added features. Now you can't see the walls.
then
Now
inside
that
the
sucks.
magnifier, the walls are invisible. Outside, they're not.
Yeah, that would
Dude,
be the difficult version.
That is wicked hard.
The color palette.
Oh, luckily there's no collision detection right now, right? Because he would have done collided by now.
You get a little animation.
We get you. We'll get you next time, but that's if you finish the maze, yeah.
Yeah. So he's added some flourishes to it,
And you
which is
start
really
at the
cool
next
too.
level. Now these mazes are generated at random, and they're generated with a loopiness factor, and that's how many loops there are in the maze.
And he also supports the 8 and 16 bug version, like the CoCo version. If you hold down, I can't remember which key it is, but when you start up, you can actually make it twice as hard.
Oh, yeah, that's what we really need. That is really cool. That's
Yeah,
a
it is. It's
hardware and software project.
And an homage to two great games back from the early 80s.
Absolutely.
Next up, there's some show here with a couple of guys.
This is some other CoCo show. Amigos Retro Gaming presents a Tira City Color Computer Podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the CoCo Show. I'm John.
I don't know if Boat's back to help plug his own
Today,
show here,
Aaron,
but
we're going to be talking about Pegasus and the Phantom Riders.
Yeah.
Now,
and as usual, they have their whole preamble. Which how did they label that on here? Or maybe it was on the actual Twitch
And
page,
the
but they
game
kind of labeled it
network's
like
already-
you know random preamble or whatever. Oh, here we are. Show more.
It's not here, but that's fine.
Yeah, because he had something about 11 minutes of preamble, random gibberish or whatever they called it, and then on to the actual game. So that's the one that Boat was talking about at the beginning here, where they go through Pegasus and the.
Now, somebody on Twitch is saying that the one on the right is ruggedly handsome, though. Gotta admit that. I'm not sure who's saying that. I don't detect any level of bias in that statement.
No, not at all. I think it was the guy that did poorly in the game on channel.
Oh, that could have been. All right.
So what he lacks in gaming skill, he makes up in good looks.
And
apparently,
modesty.
is what I'm gathering.
Modesty.
And modesty, yes.
At least he got the beard.
Yes. Okay. He said, "Take off, Curtis." Take off, eh? All right.
Take is a 4-letter word.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, like all of their shows, regardless of platform, they have these hilarious, sometimes related, sometimes not really related bits they do at the beginning. That's kind of a preamble, and then somehow one of them tries to bring it back to the main subject at hand, and actually reviews the game, which is actually kind of part of the charm of their podcast, to be honest. Because you sometimes get some weird, West Virginia hillbilly story in the middle of some game for the Amiga or the CoCo or whatever. So it's really cool.
Yeah, the intro on this one contains a rather interesting surprise about the history of BoatOfCar.
Oh, interesting. Hey, I just want to throw this out for the benefit of the show and possibly for Mark B. Right now, I am starting to run out of gas as far as being able to continue to stay on the show. Nobody's fault. It's just me. It's been a long day and a long week. So I want to pose the question of either, number one, Mark B, do you want to maybe pick up the stream if you're able to, or do we want to maybe cut it short after Game On news and we'll pick it up next week? I'll put that to you guys.
Hang on, let me wake up here.
Yeah, so maybe when we're done with the Game On news, when we get ready to take a commercial break, I can start to stream and the hot spare can pick up.
Mark's taking his cues from Mikey there.
Yeah. Okay. Cuthbert Dragon, and so hot. One of the things that I did want to talk about is the fact that it was mentioned in Discord that somebody said I didn't know the Dragon was related to the CoCo, or I don't know why you guys keep talking about Dragon games and this is supposed to be a CoCo show, or whatever it was. But so it should be noted that the Dragon is definitely related to the CoCo. It shares almost all the same DNA, all the same hardware, just slight
same
variation.
Motorola reference design.
It's based on the same blueprint that Motorola provided. So it wasn't necessarily a clone per se. They weren't trying to say, let's make a machine similar to the CoCo. They made a machine based on the same parts list that Motorola put out there to the public to build machines. And it ended up being so close to the CoCo that our software is very compatible. So I would call it a cousin or a stepchild or something, but it's very closely related technologically.
Yeah. It came out a couple years after the original CoCo did, so they did some improvements too. Like they had a real full keyboard on it, not the chiclet keyboard, and had a real parallel port on the Dragon 32, and then the Dragon 64 actually added a real serial port to it too, not a bitbanger, but a true 6551. So they actually were more advanced than the CoCo 1 and 2 at the time.
Right. And another nice thing too is that because it was on a whole other side of the world, where the CoCo was a United States-based, US-based machine, this is a UK designed in Wales originally and made its way to Spain and other areas. So the software library for the Dragon is completely different than on the CoCo. So we're seeing games on this machine, which is essentially the same machine that we never saw on the CoCo. So it is kind of neat. It's like having twins that were separated at birth and then seeing what they finally get to meet and what have you done your whole life, you know what I mean? So you're just seeing this whole other side of stuff, And so a lot of these games we're seeing are games that can run on the CoCo, that they never existed inside the United States. So it is a whole nother side of...
there's literally hundreds of games that are unique to the Dragon that we're only seeing in the last few years. And also the fact is that a lot of the games from the North American side of things actually were sold in the UK for both the CoCo and the Dragon, because there was a Radio Shack presence in the UK as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they completely redid the artwork, as we've mentioned before, so that they actually look more professional than a lot of the ones that did locally here, which are basically Xeroxed and baggies type thing, the late 70s, early 80s retro thing. So he's as we mentioned last week, he's been redoing the entire channel, doing these new 3-minute videos showing advanced levels of some of the games and the artwork, of course, but doing 2 games per with some sort of relation. Either it's the same author, the same publishing company, or the same style of game or clones of the same game, etc. So I wanted to show one in particular that I will play the entire 3 minutes of, and that's going to be the Shock Trooper and Chambers one. So the reason I picked these is that in both of them, he shows stuff that a lot of people have played these games have not seen before. So in Shock Trooper, he actually gets quite far into the game, like much farther than I've ever gotten. And in Chambers, he actually blows up the middle chamber, so you go to the next sequence of rooms. So a lot of people have not seen that before either. So I thought it would be a pretty cool one just to view.
Okay.
And of course, the artwork for the...
I know. These...
Spoiler alert.
Hey, Shock Trooper's available for the TRS-80.
That's the Metroid music.
And it actually looks good in monochrome.
Yeah, actually, the purplish thing here doesn't look too bad on this particular one.
So we're obviously fast forwarding a little bit. And decontamination. Oh, he just turned invisible.
Yeah, which on these later levels is absolutely necessary. You have to go trip that little shape there.
Oh, look at that. There's a spaceship. A lot of great animation in this thing, you know?
Graphics in general.
Yeah.
And this H2O level I've never seen before.
Right, so if that other channel's asking what games to play, this should be on that list.
Dihydrogen oxide. That stuff's dangerous.
Chambers by Tom Mix.
Now, I've played this game wrong all along because I didn't realize you could actually skip getting all the chambers. I thought you had to clear them up before you clear the center one. You don't. So what he's doing at the beginning here is the way I played, which is try to shoot everything, get the key and then go on to another room. But then he kind of just says, screw it, I'll just go solve the level. Because the main purpose of each of these sets of chambers, is to get the center one and blow up the centerpiece of it. And Nick, we haven't covered this one on your Game On Challenge yet, have we?
Chambers?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I come to shock the trooper. Oh, yeah.
Shock Trooper we did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, here comes the trooper.
See, here he just says, screw it, I'll get the key and just get out. Now he's in the center one, we have to shoot that centerpiece to blow it up. Which I have done actually solving all the rooms once or twice, but it's not easy, so this is a lot easier.
Oh, did he blow it up? Or was that him blowing up?
No, that was him blowing it up, and now you've got to compile a new set of chambers to go through, and then that changes each time. So, and if you start the game, you can use the joystick button left to right, and you can go through each set of rooms, and there's I think 20 of them or something like that. So there's a ton of new gameplay that you do there. Okay, next up after that, this is a channel I've not seen before called Retrotective. And he actually plays Donkey King on his CoCo 2 modified for composite output. And then he notices near the end of the game when he's trying to solve the girders level that his joystick isn't quite working properly. He can't move down, which makes it kind of impossible to win. But his composite mod actually looks pretty clean.
Yeah. Is there any commentary or no?
Just the clicking of the joystick.
Okay.
But it's a new channel that I've never seen do CoCo stuff before, so I wanted to give them a shout out.
Very cool.
Then another new one to me, and this is a guy in Toronto, so he's a fellow Canuck, and he's actually going to be selling off some of these cartridges because some of the games he just doesn't like or whatever. So he's going through and kind of testing to figure out which ones work. So he's got this, almost 18-minute video here going through some games. Megabug's his favorite, so he's going to keep that one. But he goes through his CoCo itself here, and it's the old melty style keyboard. Never ever sell
this. Note to self.
Maybe.
Bit of the RF there. So color baseball, which I think one of the ones he is selling.
Can somebody mute some of the other people? I'm hearing a little background noise.
And then he goes through football, which he's not a huge fan of. He did backgammon briefly, selling that one. Color cubes he's selling, though he called it checkers for some reason. Typing tutor, which he's selling.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah. Video text, which I don't think he even realized was a terminal program. Poltergeist, which is a game he says he absolutely hates, so he's selling that one.
Wow.
And then Megabug, which he plays for quite a while, and he actually goes through the different, alternate color sets with the reset.
Well, I don't think Poltergeist is one of the better games made for the CoCo. It is a good game, and I would say it should be on a must-play list. It's one of these games you got to play it at least once.
Yeah, and it's an original. It was never on any other
Yeah.
platform. It's actually got 3 different mini games within it, so it's got some variety to it. It's not easy, especially the last third level.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was another guy that he's planning on keeping the CoCo. He's planning to keep a couple of games, and he wants to get more into it. So,
okay, Ken Reichert is saying whatever link you just posted is not working for this Mike's Tech Rescue video. It's unavailable. So I don't know if it's a bad.
It.
Oh, okay.
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 Hopefully the new one works.
Very cool.
Playing it, so it's apparently working here.
Okay.
Next up, another new one to me. Channel called Marla Plays. Now, this person does a lot of retro things. There's,
Can we get a mute on that keyboard there, Marco?
Sorry.
It's okay.
He's just trying to sound busy.
Yeah.
So this person decided to do one and actually, compliments Phantom Slayer and being one of the first, real-time 3D shooters and that type of thing, and actually does a playthrough on an emulator. But has gone through and done some other retro systems. It's the very first CoCo video they've ever done, so I'm hoping to see they'll maybe pick out some.
It's very clean. Did you say this is an emulator?
Yeah, this is an emulator.
You say it's a super clean picture.
Yeah. And doesn't do too bad. I mean, gets a score in the 40s.
Okay.
No, we've seen it before. I'm not going to play it.
Okay.
And the next one actually just showed up while the show was starting, so I had to include it. So I'm going to play this entire 33 seconds of this. So I haven't had a chance to see this before, but I've been following some of his previous posts on this, and it's an engine. It's Lee Perkins. He's doing an updated video for his CoCo 3 game project showing 8-way scrolling of a map, a 16-color map on the CoCo 3 that's 1024 by 512 pixels with slowing friction. We'll see exactly what that means, but he's actually been showing us. It's a port of a game off of, I'm trying to remember what platform this was on, a Nintendo or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, I haven't seen this before either, so we'll see it together.
Ooh. Okay. Diagonal. Smooth. A little bit of tearing, and that could just be the screen sharing that you're
Yeah,
doing
it's not
here.
tearing here, so
Okay.
And
Oh,
the
I like
friction
that.
means it gradually slows down to a stop. It doesn't just stop dead.
Ah, okay. Like momentum or
Yeah.
resistance, something like that, which is futile. That is really cool. That
Yeah,
is
so
super
it looks
cool.
really good. I've seen the graphics. He's posted pictures before what the original graphics on the original platform look like, and he's got it pretty darn close. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Like I said, this was actually on. This showed up in my feed while we were on the show, so I just literally threw it in. So it wasn't like I was prepared or anything. And that is the end of the Game On News.
All right. Well, how much news do you have, Curtis?
I have
Because we are coming up on 3 hours of this show, and I don't know that I can last.
17 stories total.
Okay. I'm not sure how much
Quite
longer
a few I can
can
breeze
last.
through pretty quick too.
Yeah.
The one might be Sloopy's.
All right. So, Mark, do you want to pick up the stream?
We can try.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a commercial break, and at the end of that commercial break, I'm going to press my button, and you can press your button, and you'll tell 2 friends, and so on and so forth. Does that sound good? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry to drop off. It's just life has been hectic, and I was trying to take a nap before the show. I was so burned out, and now I'm just completely exhausted. So,
You had a late night with Demon Attack.
yeah, that's besides the point. But I just want to thank everybody for today's show. I've really enjoyed sharing this time with you guys and everything you guys do. I want to thank everybody who's been watching us. But the old man has to go, sit on his rocking chair now. So we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. And to that end, let's find a good one here. I don't know. I for whatever reason, Fletcher always just works for me. I like Fletcher, so I'm gonna go ahead and play out my participation in the show on a Fletcher commercial, and then phase 2 of the CoCoTALK Cinematic Universe will resume with Mark Bosley picking up the stream after these words. Thank you all for today's show. I appreciate each and every one of you, or most of you, anyways. And good night, everybody. All right, here we go.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Fletcher, I don't need that report tomorrow.
Great, JT.
I need it tonight.
But JT...
Fletcher saved $300 on her office away from the office. Radio Shack's revolutionary Model 100 computer. It's a word processor, phone directory, and dialer. It even communicates with the office computer.
Fletcher, how's that report? Fletcher.
Radio Shack's Model 100. Save $300 and put it to work.
You'll go far, Fletcher. You'll go far.
And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. On holidays, Uncle JT would entertain us with stories of his business conquests and his assistant who would meet any deadline that he imposed, no matter how ridiculous. Well, until she shot him in the face, that is.
Hi, this is the award-winning Alan Huffman of Subby the Software, and you're watching Stevie Fall Off Cliffs.
What's going on, guys? Stevie Strow here, and I want to say thank you so much for being part of this adventure with us. It's been such a great experience in doing CoCoTALK every week, and the support we get is just amazing. And so the fact that you watch and listen is all the reward that we need. However, if you would like to become a patron of the show and offer some financial assistance towards the production and hosting costs of the show, we do have a Patreon site available for that, and you can reach that by going to our website at CoCoTalk.live and clicking on the Patreon link. But just do us a favor and watch and listen to the show.
Hey there, I'm Marco Rolzer, and you're watching CoCoTALK.
This is not the Joey cereal switch. This is the Joey cereal switch. Control up to 3 cereal devices. Order yours today at cocoman.biz.
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Right! This Christmas, Tandy has a very special offer. A family color computer pack to take away at a very special price. This family computer comes complete with software and costs an incredible $449, a saving of $241.69. It's powerful, educational, and ideal for the young and young at heart. The easy way to start computing. The Color Computer Family Pack from Tandy. Get it while it's hot. Tandy, the biggest electronics store in Australia.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tim. Playing Daggereth like that idiot from the book. You're watching CoCoTALK.